If you've ever spent too much time reading stories and graffiti on the inside of a public bathroom stall, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. And I'd like to hear some of the craziest stuff that you've ever read on the inside. We'll do nothing to contain those comments. Good morning, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Market Edge Live as we get one day closer to the Thanksgiving holiday. We've got more stuff to break down here today. We've got some more earnings. We've got some more movers. We got to figure out where we're going to make that money. It's a T3 Tuesday. We got a lot of stuff to do. Let's roll. Good morning, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Market Edge Live, where we get you prepared for the trading day. We're going to break down all of the movers. We're going to break down all of the top stories. We're going to talk about those stocks that are moving around, where your trade setups are going to be. Got David Prince from T3 joining us today. Got a lot of stuff to do. We're going to have a good time. And as mentioned just a second ago, we are one day closer to the Thanksgiving holiday. Got a new Oak Island tonight. Lots of really good stuff. Let's go ahead and dive right in to the SPY. We talked yesterday about this kind of trading up to the trend line. We talked about 600 being that level that it really needs to break and get over, perhaps even close above for another run towards new all-time highs. All-time high was recently set here was 600.86. So we'll see if the SPY can end up taking that out. We're basically right on that trend line here. Quick look at the futures. S&P futures up 0.2%. Dow futures down 0.1%, and the NASDAQ futures up just about 0.3%. So basically about flat. Crude here up 0.8%. 0.8%. It was up over 1% earlier, but it's backed off some of that. We'll see where crude ends up going here today. This is kind of where we're at with the SPY. I do still have my SPY calls that were obliterated. These were the December 6/15 calls, looking for another run towards the new highs, and we were all out of the ELF trade yesterday. So all of those trades are paid for. We're ready to break down what's going on next here. First stock that I want to talk about, first news story here is going to be about Rumble, ticker RUM. Rumble bets on Bitcoin with the new Treasury Secretary. CEO calls it an excellent addition, according to the announcement. Now, this is important because, first of all, there was a poll done on Twitter about Rumble and whether or not they should add Bitcoin to the balance sheet. I don't remember the results of that poll, but I know that there was a poll going out where he's going to do that. Now it sounds like this is what they're going to do. When he released that poll, this popped on that. And now here it looks like today, looks like we're down about 1.5% after a pretty decent day yesterday, plus 12.6%. So Rumble, I want to get your thoughts on that. And I also want to know if you folks think that there are going to be more companies that are doing this. We had a gentleman, I think it was Newhouse. I can't remember. It was it was CNBC. It was late last week. There was a gentleman saying that when they give loans for real estate, they're actually going to loan them a little bit more money so the building can fix itself up, and then also buy Bitcoin with the surplus to add that as part of the collateral package. So it seems to me like more companies, investment firms, and all of that are going to try to angle Bitcoin in. I think that this is just a good thing for Bitcoin in general. I think that just kind of shows that it's really not going away. So that's what's going on here with Rumble. If we take a look at the daily chart here, you can see we just recently reclaimed the 500-day. That's this purple line. You can see we've actually struggled with this line since it started to get drawn. In March of 2024, at the beginning of March, and then at the end of March, we tried to break over this. We really weren't able to. We tried recently again here, Monday, November 11th. We were really unable to break above it, despite temporarily doing it. The next day, we came right back in. Today is going to tell us, are we able to hold above this 500-day moving average? That would set us up for a move higher here on Rumble, or do we break back beneath it? If we do, I think we return to that 200. We'll see where we go from there. So that's what's going on. Ticker RUM Rumble. The next news story here is going to be on Rivian. I know a lot of people really like this stock. They trade this stock. We've got news here today. Rivian scores $6.6 billion loan to build a Georgia EV gigafactory. This comes from the Department of Energy. Thank you, Benzinga Pro. Rivian trading up 9% on this news. So good that they were able to secure a loan there. Remember, this company loses $1 billion a quarter. So the price kind of makes sense down here. That being said, this seems like a really good piece of news. Got a loan from the Department of Energy. And on top of that, they should be able to hit their delivery targets as more and more gigafactories come online. If you take a look at where the price actually is here on this news story, we popped above the 200-day. We are testing the 100-day literally as we speak. 100-day, I had that value at $12.75. Current price here of Rivian, $12.69. So we are 6 cents away. We are absolutely testing that 100-day moving average. See if we can actually move above that here. The 100 hasn't really provided that type of that great of a launching pad or a resistance area. So we'll see if we can get above that and then maybe make a run towards that 500. But that's what's going on here with Rivian. I know that there are a lot of folks that trade this often. I know that there are people that are also invested in this. I'd be curious to hear what you think about this news. We'll see if this leads to anything, but some positive news here for Rivian right here in the pre-market. Next story we want to go to here is Tesla. That's going to be Elon Musk's Tesla, of course. Tesla here is actually up about 0.25% here in the pre-market. See, this has been on a really big run. What's the news? Elon Musk slams California's proposal to shut Tesla EVs out of consumer rebates in the state. Quote, "This is insane," end quote. So, of course, they're talking about here the rebates that consumers get for buying electric vehicles. This makes paying for an electric vehicle, which is still marketably more expensive than a ICE or an internal combustion engine, a comparable vehicle. These rebates make them much more palatable for the consumer. Obviously, Elon Musk is kind of at war with the government in California. Perhaps war is the wrong word, given what we're seeing across the rest of the world. In a scuffle, or kerfuffle, you might even say, with some of the California leadership there. It seems like this is just kind of political posturing and just kind of a back and forth. I would imagine that that's not actually going to happen. I would imagine that they're not actually going to take away EV rebates. After all, those exact same people that are threatening this have said that we are at a climate emergency where there is no recovery if we do not switch to EV vehicles. So I highly doubt that they're going to do that. Nonetheless, that's the news here on Tesla. Does not seem to be affecting it here today. Stock is positive in the pre-market, just minorly. But we'll see how that plays out. Those are definitely a set of headlines to look for. We might see more news on that front as it continues here. Now, the next piece of news. Here, this is likely going to be kind of like a changing thing. We'll see what this ends up leading to, especially as far as trade ideas. Trump says he will impose 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico on the first day in office and add an extra, I believe he was quoted as saying an extra 10% on the Chinese tariffs until they, quote, pay attention, end quote. This is an interesting piece of news. We know from the first Trump presidency that he actually used these tariffs as a negotiating tactic. This is what he said he would do in his campaign trail. Should be no surprise to anybody, like him or hate him, that that's what he's doing now. Reports are that several hours after this was made, Justin Trudeau reached out to discuss border security from Canada. So we'll see here what that leads to. The one thing that I think we can look at as far as plays go, or as far as market participation goes, some of those law enforcement stocks that we saw get a Trump bump after the election, tickers like GEO, which is the prison, AXON, which is the body cam. I would imagine that those might be in play with this headline here, just because that's one of the reasons that he's talking about these tariffs is to negotiate for a more secure border. And I think some of the border stocks might end up trading on that news. What other trades this will lead to, we'll see. At this point, don't have any other tickers, but this is not going to be the last you heard of this news. That much I can say with some confidence there. So we'll see where this leads, and we'll see if this adds other trading ideas to what we're looking at. Just as a reminder, the FOMC minutes are going to be released today at 2 p.m. Now, we're not expecting a whole lot of market movement out of that. At least I'm not. I'd be curious to know if you folks are. Definitely would be curious about that. I'm not really expecting much movement out of that, but that is coming here 2 p.m. Eastern time in the afternoon. The next big piece of news here is actually going to be on Amgen, and this is one to watch here for a couple of reasons. Wiss, you're headed to the golf course. Man, oh man, way to make me jealous here this morning on a Tuesday morning. Go low, Wiss. Appreciate you dropping by. And if it's a sick golf course, I expect pictures, or it didn't happen. Anyway, Amgen, another piece of data here released. Amgen announces data at 52 weeks in a phase 2 study in which Maritide, one of its drugs, is showing up to 20% average weight loss at the 52-week mark without a weight loss plateau. So this actually seems like good information on the surface. Seems like the phase 2 study here is showing good results. Perhaps these results aren't as good as anticipated. Don't follow Amgen enough to know. Market not impressed with this data here. Amgen down 8.13% here in the pre-market. You can see on the daily chart where this actually takes us. We have had a really awesome clean bounce off the 500-day moving average. That reversal day was Tuesday of last week, right? So literally a week ago, had a really, really strong bounce here. This thing moved from 277 up to 294, so almost a full 20-point move. That got deleted here this morning with the release of that data. You can see we actually gapped below the 500-day. We were barely trying to hang on to 270 there. Looks like we broke into a 269 handle. If we take a look at an intraday chart here, you can see we actually are up off the lows. This thing really overshot to the downside. So there must have been kind of a big miss, kind of a letdown here in terms of the efficacy of this drug. But nonetheless, headline here, about 20% average weight loss at 52 weeks without a weight loss plateau. Anyone that has tried to do weight loss, whether it's drugs or natural, feels good. You start losing some of that weight, and then bam, you run into that wall, and it can that plateau, and it can make it a little bit harder. Looks like that doesn't happen here with the Amgen drug, so that would also be a positive. Nonetheless, here, Amgen trading down. One of the things that I want to watch for here today is going to be a recapture of this, right? We'll see what the market kind of thinks about this data as it plays out today. We've seen some of these stocks bounce. We know how good the 500-day moving average is. So I'd be very curious to see if we can actually reclaim this. Just to kind of put some numbers to that, we're currently trading at 269.35. The actual 500-day moving average is 276.55, and this is down 24 points. So we actually gapped down from a 295 handle. So we'll see where this ends up here. Something to watch here on Amgen, and I believe that these option chains are actually fairly liquid indeed. So if you're looking for a potential bounce here, or maybe even a move lower, long or short, you should have plenty of opportunity using Amgen options. In fact, we are going to have Anne-Marie on today at 11. Maybe we should ask her about Amgen or a potential options trade. So we'll go ahead and do that. Anyway, ticker AMGN, Amgen, lower here in the pre-market on that phase 2 data. Okay. Let's see. You guys are talking about Zena. We are definitely going to take a look here at ZENA. That's going to be one of our movers here. Obviously, we traded that yesterday. Had a monster day after we got off the show. It was good while we were on the show. Had a monster day after the show. But we're going to break that down. When 13 shows up, we're going to include that with some of our movers because that is absolutely going to be a target here today. In the meantime, I do kind of want to go through some of the earnings reports. We got 15 minutes here before we get David Prince from T3. The big one that reported yesterday is going to be Zoom. All right. Zoom shares are trading lower here. The company did report Q3 financial results. First of all, taking a look here at the daily chart, you can see exactly what we were doing. This did kind of run into the report, right? We had this little ramp here. It started at the back half of October. Granted, we did pull back to the 9-day moving average, the 20-day moving average, and we bounced from there pretty ferociously. But this, to me, really kind of feels like a run into the earnings. Now with the earnings out here, it was a revenue beat. It was an EPS beat. Online churn hits an all-time low, and the company is going to change its name too. What was the name of the company there? I don't have that in here. Let me see if I can get that here for you. I do have that here in my notes. But I don't have that. I don't have it written down here. So, okay. Interesting. Producer, what are they changing the name to? That's what I'd like to figure out here. Anyway, that's what's kind of going on with Zoom here. This really trading down here by about 8% on the backs of those earnings. So far, we are holding that 20-day moving average where we bounced from the last time. So maybe we do bounce here about 80.5 on that spot. Okay, 80.5. Good morning, Judge. Good to see you. Good morning, Chris, Big Bees, Russ, ex-sniper, Bobby, Ralph. Good morning to everybody here. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully you had a great evening last night. Okay, so that's what's going on with Zoom, ZM. Now let's take a look here at SMTC. This is another earnings report here. This is going to be Semtech. Okay. Semtech shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q3 financial results and issued Q4 guidance within its midpoints above estimates. So here we go. Stock's up 15.5% here. You can see we're actually $61. We are actually going to be right, almost $62 actually. We're going to be right in here. And this is an important spot because if you go back here, and actually now we've got the price doing the work for us, giddy up. You can see going all the way back to 2020, this was an area of both resistance and support. And then again in 2022, did those same things. So this $62-ish area, very, very important. Had a nice little gap here, coming off the bottom on SMTC. We will see if this ends up forming an island. Some of those island trades or island setups that we've been looking at recently, they could really kind of pay off. So we'll see if this sets up for one here, but that's basically what's going on. It is worth noting that now with this pop, we are in overbought territory on the RSI. So 75.5 here. See if this takes a break. Maybe kind of comes back in, defines the candle. That's what's going on here with SMTC. You know, the other thing I wanted to check. Yeah, here we go. We also had some price target readjustments here this morning on the backs of that earnings from last night. Looks like Stiefel raised their price target, went from 58 to 65. Piper went from 60 to 75. Needham reiterating their buy and raising their price target to 70. Benchmark going from 56 to 82. Stiefel maintaining a buy. We talked about that. Northland Capital raising the price target to 60. So looks like it's a good earnings report here. Stocks popping 16.7%. We'll see if there's some more juice to this one, but that's what's going on here in the morning. Ticker SMTC. SMTC. Okay. Now, next, we did have some earnings here this morning. And remember, this was the retail earnings, almost kind of like the early Christmas, if you will. Some of these retail names. We're going to start with ticker ANF, Abercrombie and Fitch, which if you've been a part of this show for any length of time, really recently, we have talked an awful lot about Abercrombie. We watched in most of 2023, we watched this stock just do nothing but trade up every single day. 2024 looked like it was going to be some of the same, with obviously a huge move in the end of May, beginning of June. Since then, we've kind of been consolidating, and frankly, the stock really needed it. You can see here, this blue line, this is going to be your 200-day. Really kind of flirting with this line, really has used this as support. Now here today on the backs of these earnings, looks like we're down about 2.26%. Abercrombie & Fitch Q3 EPS 250, which is up $1.83 year over year. Sales 1.21 billion, up from 1.056 billion year over year. So looks like a pretty good report on the surface here. Market not really trading any higher. It's not really breaking down. So I'm not necessarily, I don't know what the next move is going to be. This actually could be a potential dip buy candidate, to be quite honest with you. But again, this had moved pretty good over an extended period of time, and this might just be the market kind of catching up to it. One other thing about ANF here, Abercrombie & Fitch promotes Robert Ball to the CFO, so your new chief financial officer. That was also included in this report. Real quick, it increases the full year outlook to net sales growth outlook from 12% to 13%, or from 12 to 13% to 14%. So I guess the higher end of the range there, sees net sales to grow 5 to 7%. So we'll see here on Abercrombie, known for its overpowering sense and incredibly loud music when you walk by the store in the malls. We'll see where Abercrombie goes here. What I'd really like to see for a bullish move is a recapture of some of these recent highs. Got that at about 160 plus. I don't know if we're going to get there here today on Abercrombie. Well, next we'll see if it holds all of these areas that's got those moving averages really kind of bunched in there. RSI at about 62, so some sideways trading here to kind of reduce that RSI would make a lot of sense. Abercrombie, first retail stock here, not being rewarded on its earnings print. Next one that we're going to take a look at is Kohl's, ticker KSS. And boy, oh boy, this one looks a little bit worse than what we just took a look at there on Abercrombie. Kohl's Q3 2024 GAAP EPS of 20 cents, misses the 28-cent estimate. Sales 3.5 billion, misses the 3.63, almost 3.64 billion estimate. So you miss on the top, miss on the bottom line. Stock is down almost 17% here today. They saw fiscal year 2024 EPS 120 to 150. The prior view was 175 to 225. Projects a net sales decrease of 7 to 8%. So this is pretty much bad across the board here. Bad across the board. CEO Kingsbury plans to step down on January 15th. So we're going to have another CEO transition here. We've already had a sales drop here. You can see the market is telling you exactly what they think of that. Kohl's down here 17%. Taking a look at the chart, we're trading right down here about 1523. If I put my cursor here, you can see exactly where that is. 1523 is going to be right in, come on, right in here. So it actually looks like this is going to retest an area where that COVID low was. Now, we did bounce from here, and we actually had a pretty nice meteoric rise in November of 2020. But let's see what happens when we retest this low here. A break beneath, just more downside, I would imagine. Otherwise, if we can hold this, maybe even consolidate here a little bit, Kohl's actually might set up for an upside move. So that's what's going on here. Ticker KSS, not good on those retail earnings. Not good, down 17% here. Okay, let's see if the electronics retailer fared any better. That's going to be Best Buy, ticker BBY. Down 2.18% here. Best Buy Q3 2025 adjusted EPS 126, misses the 129 estimate. Sales 9.45 billion, misses the 9.63 billion estimate. So Best Buy not doing it here, actually trading down. But again, unlike Kohl's, this is more like Abercrombie. Not really a huge breakdown, definitely a move down, but not really a huge breakdown here. You can see we're holding right here at about 90 bucks. We're holding right on the 20-day. We did lose the 50-day here. But we are right on the 20-day. We'll see if it can actually hold this 200-day. I've got that down here at 85, almost 85 and a half. Got that at 85.39. So if we continue to break down and trade lower here today, that would be the spot to look for a bounce. This is Best Buy, ticker BBY. The next earnings that we have here is going to be Dick's Sporting Goods. This is ticker DKS, and this one really kind of looks like it's bucking the trend here. So Dick's Sporting Goods Q3 2024 adjusted EPS 275, beat the 268 estimate. Sales of 3.06 billion, beat the 3.03 billion estimate. So beat on the top and bottom line here. Stock is trading up by 8.5%, looking at 233.50 is kind of where we're at right now. You take a look at this, boy, oh boy, we sure look like we are going to test those highs. Those are all-time highs, are they not? Yes, sir. We are going to test those all-time highs. Now, the one thing, so Fairchild here, I appreciate this. I was actually wondering, I wanted to get some more context from some of our viewers here. Sporting goods are big at Christmas. This is a fact. So actually, my biggest Christmas gift last year was a new putter. So I'm totally with you on that. I haven't bought sporting equipment other than activewear for anyone yet this holiday, but this is consistent with what I've seen over the course of years. This is a really good time to get sporting equipment. In fact, if you go to Costco seems to have a lot of sporting equipment, including some summer sporting equipment at reduced prices. Looks like Dick's doing the same thing here. So the one thing to watch, here is going to be a Head and Shoulders if we set it up. So as mentioned here, we are popping to right about this area. The one thing that I don't want to see form here, and look, we're going to have a couple of days, maybe the rest of this week, maybe part of next week, to figure out if this is going to happen. The one thing that we want to avoid, really don't want to have Head and Shoulders formed here. So I kind of see this as a left shoulder. Let's get out of here, drawing tools. Here's maybe your head. And then if this forms as the right shoulder, that next move should be down. So we'll see if we end up getting that here. This is one of the things I want to watch for. We'll see how those moving averages really kind of come into play. And we'll see if the stock really has some more juice to invalidate this right shoulder on a potential Head and Shoulders formation here on the daily. So something to watch for here with Dick's, ticker DKS. Okay, next is going to be ADI. This is Analog Devices. We'll start here on the daily chart. Oops, let me get rid of the drawing tool there, get my crosshair back here. Okay, we'll start right here on the daily chart. You can see exactly where we're popping to. So this stock here, ADI, Analog Devices, Q4 2024 adjusted EPS 167. That beat the 164 estimate. Sales 2.44 billion, beat the 240 billion estimate. So beat on the top and the bottom line here. Analog Devices traded right up to that resistance area. Literally right up to this resistance area. Now 1, 2, 3. This will be the fourth attempt at trying to break and go higher here. This also would be a new all-time high if we're able to break that area. So we shall see. You could see recently, again, one of the big things that we look for here for swing trades is going to be, what does the stock do when it interacts with the 200-day moving average? Well, you can see as we really kind of sold off and lost it, we bottomed. We tested it on the way back up. Let me zoom in so that's easier to see. We tested this on the way back up, and when we recaptured it, boom, here we go. Trading higher here by 6.7%. We'll see if we have enough juice to get over the 240 area. If we do, you have your all-time high right in here, about 244. Let me get you that exact number here by measuring this candle. Got that high here, 244.14. 244.14 is going to be your all-time high. That is in play here if Analog Devices can keep moving higher. So ticker ADI, beat on the top and the bottom line. Stock doing better here today. RSI is actually in no man's land, or it's kind of in the middle here, so it definitely has some more room to run here today. Volume looking pretty good. We shall see when the market opens here. All right. Next earnings report here is going to be SJM. This is going to be JM Smuckers. How many of you folks liked Uncrustables out there, huh? How many of you bought those Uncrustables? I'm a huge fan of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, have been my entire life. Smuckers goes back to my childhood, puts a smile on my face every time I read it. So happy to do that here for you today. Stock is trading up by about 5.8% here today. JM Smucker's Q2 2025 adjusted EPS of 276 beats the 251 estimate. Nice healthy beat there. Sales 2.271 billion beat the 2.264 billion estimate. So just kind of a little beat there. You can see Smucker's trading higher here by just shy of 6%. We'll see where this ends up here today. 120 is currently where we're at. Again, you've got this very, very clear resistance area, 122.5 thereabouts. We'll see if SJM, the Smucker's company, can end up taking that out. All right, that'll do it for your morning earnings here today. As mentioned earlier, it is a T3 Tuesday, so give your best welcome here to Derrick Prince from T3. Let's bring him on. All right, Derrick, good morning. Happy Tuesday. How are you today, my man?
I'm good. It's our first time together because I was usually with the other guys. I'm David, just letting you know.
Oh, my God. Did I screw it up already?
It's okay, bro.
Holy smokes.
I'm pretty chill, but I'm a David, not a Derrick, so you know.
Yep, we had Derrick. You know what? We had Derrick last week. I was looking at some of my notes sense. And I read the wrong name. So
he's the better looking one.
Okay, but you're the funnier one, apparently. So, all right. Starting off here behind, we'll see if we can kind of bring this back together here. Appreciate you being cool about that. One of the things that I had asked Scott and Derrick, and now we'll ask David recently, was about the morning routine that you guys have in preparing for the market. One of the things that we've done here is we're trying to break down all of these stories, trying to break down what's going on, what happened overnight. But I know that everyone's morning routine differs. And when I asked Scott about this, he launched into going into the sauna and the cold plunge and all of the really cool stuff. So I got to know, what do you have on your morning routine?
So typically I run about 9 miles each AM. Then I sauna. No, I'm teasing you. So
I was like, here we go. You guys and your health freaks. This is unreal.
No, that's Scott. I smoke 4 packs of cigarettes a day, a couple shots, and then I just start throwing darts. But in all seriousness, the routine is like essential to me. I have a basic routine for almost 30 years now. And it's basically acquiring all the important information for the day, for the week, so I can have a plan for what I'm focused on today to make money, the week to make money, and my swing positions where I want to be as far as sizing. And it's pretty simplistic. It's going through news, right? So whether it's you guys, whether it's, Trade the News, Briefing, Bloomberg, and really looking through the up and down grades, because when you're as old as me, you begin to figure out what upgrades and downgrades mean. As we both know, very often they mean absolutely nothing. Very often it's Katie Huberty on an Apple, or it's Dan Ives on Snowflake yesterday, and they can move a stock. So I go through all those. This means something. This doesn't. This is a stock I don't own. This is going to move it for the day. I want to be in it. And then what I do is unlike most people, I go through CNBC and I see for any information I miss, or maybe Kramer mentioned a stock that's going to be goosed up and up a little too much because he opined on it on his show. Maybe it's a cute short opportunity, but it's information. So I will actually go through Fast Money and Mad Money's recap on CNBC. And I will then formulate all that information and in a very simple format, produce an AM call for the inner circle. And for myself, that basically says, today, step 1, step 2, step 3, this is the size I want to be at this level, and enables me, because I'm not much of a reactor. I mean, if I have to react, I react, but I am a planner. So if X happens, I do Y, and we should get Z. So in order to enact that plan, I go through the news, I go through the charts, and then I go through my favorite 100, 200 Twitter follows. Not the, we all know most of Twitter, a lot of silly people out there, but there are 100, 200 great people providing great content, including charts. I go through those, and that's how I develop an AM plan. I wish it was the running part, but I leave that to Scott.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes a ton of sense. And I agree with you on Twitter and all of that information. First of all, formulating a plan is going to be paramount. This is what I try to do every day as well. A good plan is going to be key to successful trading. Real quickly here, be sure to download David's free ebook. stay one step at the top of the market, you can go ahead and use the QR code right at the bottom in order to do that. Okay, so really good stuff on the morning routine. Let me ask you, how does, a former money manager, venture capital investor, how is your approach to the market different from, let's say, a retail guy, just a regular old retail guy? I know you just kind of went through your morning routine, but how does this really differ and benefit you?
Not that much. The only difference is that there's nothing special. It's just I have maybe a little bit more information than the average trader. Definitely not smarter, but and it's how I access that information and use it. So here, let me give you an example. During that SPAC insanity, since I did a lot of SPACs in the early 2000s and kind of helped put them on the map with a few big name ones years ago, I understood basically the toxicity of what a SPAC was. I also knew the CEOs, half of them, and who would be followed and who Kramer would talk about. So it kind of provided me a little bit of insight to the SPACs that might work, which luckily enough I was in, but let's face it, a lot worked. And then to say, I even told people, if you can find a SPAC ETF, short it, and then go to sleep and thank me in a year or two. So I think during moments like that, or looking at a company and not just looking at the PE, but maybe realizing the free cash flow is more important than the PE in certain sectors, that's maybe where that additional information helps. But in essence, we're all doing the same thing. Best risk reward, maybe not too crowded trades, trying to be there before the next guy, but not too early, not chasing broken names, being in the right trends. There's no magic that anyone who's been a money manager versus a trader has, except maybe how they apply the very same rules.
Okay, that's really good stuff. And that should give the retail guy confidence out there. Look, if you do your homework and you pay attention and you read, you can do this too. So really good stuff. Now, kind of along the same lines here, can you describe how you find your edge on a daily basis? Like, how do you pick different trade setups where you feel real good about what you're going to do? You just talked about having a plan. So if X happens, then and we see Y, then, or if X or Y happens, then we should see Z. How do you actually find your edge?
Okay. So I think a day or two forward. Here's what I mean by that, because I think I have a good example. It's like, rather than talk about 2 weeks ago, like yesterday. So we have been very mid-cap focused on a lot of these leaders. Shopify, Snowflake, Affirm, Block have been big positions of mine. And yesterday I was taking most profits on Snowflake, on Shop. That was an insane open. Tesla into 360. I sold calls I had held stock. But here's my point. So there's pressure on NVIDIA this morning, and there's pressure on the whole big cap sector. Few names were doing okay, like Google, which I'm long, but the point was we're seeing some pressure. So I don't think it's over for NVIDIA, but I was pretty loud even on Twitter. I don't like the print. I'm long the stock, but I don't like the print. I wouldn't buy calls. But once it pulls back, I'll gladly buy it. So we get a pullback from 152. We come closer to the 50-day, which I talked about in the morning. I said the closer we get, the more interested I am in adding back to my position. I bought a share of NVIDIA, and I trade NVIDIA every week for the first time in a month because it's kind of been nothing to do. So I said, while everyone's ignoring big cap and it's over, I think it's the first time in a long time when we get the equivalent of a 10% pullback. It was almost exact 10% pullback to actually put some stock on. So we put stock on as low as 135.90 because it got there like right at the close. There was a rebalance, and most of the day in the 136s, and right now it's 137.89. I'm not, retiring off the trade, but it's a great way to position, plan ahead, and know that just because maybe small cap might have topped for a minute, right? There was some craziness yesterday. It might take a break. There are other things to do because what we've seen is this is a market that's constantly rotational, right? There's 5 sectors working, and then when they slow down, there's the next 5 working. So it's just basically thinking beyond 4 or 5 stocks and realizing financials, fintech, and Tesla may have led. And then when they take a break, like they might the next couple of days, maybe NVIDIA becomes exciting again. So that's kind of what we do, is think beyond being day traders and what we're doing today.
Okay.
Use the averages,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually something that we do here quite a bit. So that jives a lot. Really good stuff there on NVIDIA. Let me ask you just kind of a more broad question here with the market near all-time highs here. How are you just kind of generally approaching some of these trades? Obviously, each trade is going to be its own thing, case by case basis. But how are you approaching looking for trades here with the market near or at all-time highs?
Here's what I said yesterday, that we're going to have like 2 days that feel like a week or a month, and then be willing to be bored in between. Here's what I mean by that. Snowflake, I started buying. I was waiting for the pullback after earnings. We finally got it Friday. We got that pullback to like 166, 167, right? And then yesterday gets the upgrade from Wedbush, and I'm like, oh my God, it's up $10 already. Now, I can pretend that we're early, but we're not. The stock bottomed at like 110, right? I'm not early. And even Dan's target over at Wedbush was 190. So when we're almost at 180 yesterday, am I praying the market's just going to keep going higher, or am I selling most of it? So in other words, I know the climate we're in. I'm adjusting to it. I'm being a bit more aggressive. In other words, I would have liked to wait for Snowflake to pull back more on Friday. But I said, we're not in that market. It's not going to give us an easy buy. And then when it's time to take profits, maybe being more aggressive and knowing things have gotten, I don't want to say out of hand, but things are fluffy. Things are a bit crazy. So if I'm up 10, 15%, I'm not saying I'm going to be up 50% tomorrow.
Sure.
It's time to take some profits. And then in areas where I'm pretty comfortable, like NVIDIA, I wouldn't be shocked if I see 140, 142, 143 over the coming days. So I won't be in a rush to sell too much of it. So it's being cognizant of where we enter a position and how late in the game we are. I would think on some of these mid caps that have been leading, like fintech, like some of these small, like robotic stocks, and some of the crazy stuff that's been moving, we're a little later in the path, right? So here's one. So everyone loves nuclear yesterday.
Oh yeah,
there was that deal with NNE, and people said, "Should I buy it?" I said, no, like it really needs a greater pullback. And they did a deal that reads a little toxic to me, like the strike was so far below where it's trading. Let it come in. Just because it's off 10% doesn't mean it's a buy. And they killed that thing. That NNE, where is it now? It got to like 25.
26 and a half. Yep.
Yeah, it got to 25 yesterday. So my point is kind of be realistic on how far stocks have gone. And if they need to pull back, pull back. Another one was Block we owned from like 82, 83. It was up to 92. A lot of people liked that chart. It was going to go the next leg. I'm like, guys, I get it. It would feel good. I think it's going to 100, but I think it's probably pulling back to 85, 86, 87 maybe before it does. So I'd rather miss buying more than buy it just because it's down $2. And that's how we're adjusting.
Okay, real good stuff here. Block is actually one that we've taken a look at too, and you're absolutely right. This is actually kind of rolling over from the resistance area that it's at.
It needs more than a 5% break, right? It might come in, and that's okay. It just went up like 30 points.
Absolutely. And that's the other thing. I think sometimes, FOMO gets the best of us, right? We see a stock that moves up 30 points. It's okay if it comes back in 5 points. Hell, that might be setting up for the next leg higher anyway.
I said that on Bitcoin on Friday. I said, listen, someone said, you think it'll get through 100,000? I said, I don't give a damn. Like it might go to 101, 102, but I'm really sure. I said the next 5 to 7% is going to be low. Now it may go to 110, 102 and then 94, 95, but I think it's lower. So who cares if it goes through or not? I just think risk reward. So I was selling a lot of my IBIT. It'll go lower. And here we are. Now, did I know it was going to go here before 102? No, but sometimes it's simply a matter of, is the risk greater than the reward, or the reward greater over the short term? So that's what I'm measuring.
So real quickly here, just to put some numbers to your Bitcoin example, because that is absolutely fantastic here. We did touch that 100K. 5% pullback here puts us at about 95K. A 10% pullback puts us at 91K. We're currently at 92K here. Spot on. That is absolutely awesome. Okay, David, I'm going to get you out of here on this. Again, folks, make sure that you download David's free ebook here. QR code is right there on the screen. Is there anything that you're looking at or planning for, considering we've talked a lot about planning here, for going into 2025? Maybe not individual names, although look, if you have some individual names, giddy up.
I've been pretty upfront. I'm planning for a difficult first half. Okay. I really think the comps are tough. I think forget about whether it's tariffs or whether inflation moves up a little bit because of Donald Trump. I think more than anything, we have to be cognizant that a lot of these leaders just put up ungodly numbers on the good side. And the comps in some of the leadership categories like semis and even in NVIDIA, you're going to see some deceleration. Doesn't mean they're not going to grow, but the rate of growth and law of large numbers might hurt some of these. So I'm just cognizant that, hey, we can pull back after a wild couple of years, and it might be a little bit more messy up front. That's what I'm thinking, that the comps on a lot of the big leadership, especially in the Qs, might be a little soft. Doesn't mean there won't be great buys, but we've come a long way.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. That's one of the big things that I've been kind of waiting for here. Is we have come a long way, whether it's the SPY, the Qs, or some of those individual names. Let me ask you, just again, I'll get you out of here on this, but you just kind of reminded me of this. What do you think about this year? It sure seemed like there were just like a handful of really popular stocks that everybody is in. You know the names: Apple, NVIDIA, the whole nine yards. What do you think maybe some diversification from those names would mean for the rest of the market? If we come in, if we start selling a little bit in NVIDIA,
it's happened, and it's been the healthiest thing, right? Like MSTR, I mean, even if they went too crazy, the leadership has been the APPs, the MSTRs, the Robinhoods, the Affirms. So that's already happened, right? If you were to look at the last 2 months' performance of some of these fintech names, you can throw SoFi in there as well. Yep. And you can certainly throw Square, Affirm, Upstart versus NVIDIA and Meta. They're killing it versus some of these big caps. So I think it's been, I mean, that's why people are enjoying it so much. It's been a really healthy rotational market where big cap tech passed the baton, and it's been absolutely fine. And I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I just don't think it's going to last forever. So I'm definitely aware 25 may not be as fun as the end of this year, but I'm having fun while it lasts.
Okay. I just a quick yes or no. We talked about a dartboard earlier. Quick yes or no prediction. Do we get a big correction at any point in 2025?
I don't know. To me, a big correction would be beyond 20%. Okay. I'm just comfortable. I'm really sure we get 15%, something like that. Beyond 20, my truth, I have no gut on that. But okay. I think 15, 18, something like that, easy. Okay. Big correction, I don't see any reason, unless tariff problems, inflation, and I don't pretend to be a macro guy. If I can see 3 months out, I'm lucky. Okay. Makes a lot of sense there. Okay. David, thank you so much. Again, I want to personally apologize for calling you by the wrong name. I could care less. Be sure to download David's free ebook. Use the QR code. Take care of yourself, David. We will see you again. That is David Prince from T3 Trading. Thanks, brother. Thanks, brother. All right. Really good stuff there, folks. Really appreciate the feedback. I love the morning routine protocol question. 3D, I'm so glad to get feedback from somebody else on that, because honestly, I think some of the things that I've learned the most from people that have more experience than me is what they do to put themselves in a position to succeed. Yeah, everyone looks at charts. Everyone opens their broker. Everyone knows what some of these formations are. But what are some of the little things that you do to prepare yourself, whether it's your mind, spirit, body, whatever it is? So I'm glad you folks are seeing benefit from those questions. Alexa, same thing. Love the questions. Great session. Awesome. If you do have feedback, or if you do have questions for these folks, I'm happy to take that. Remember, the whole goal here is to add value for you. And one of the ways that we can do that is when we get a lot of seasoned traders and really experienced traders here. Let's pick their brain. I'm happy to take questions from the audience as well. So really, really good stuff. And David is an absolute class act there. Got called the wrong name, made a joke about it, and then delivered great content as always. Really spectacular, really spectacular stuff. Okay, let's go into some of the movers here. We should have 13 joining us. Before we do that, let me just remind you really quickly of some of the economic events that we're waiting for here today. 9 a.m., we're looking for the home price index. We'll see if that ends up moving the market. That might move some of the home builder stocks. I know we talked recently about Toll Brothers, DR Horton.
Beezer would be another builder here. This whole chart, I know we talked with Matt about this, really kind of looking for a pullback, but these things have been incredibly strong. Let's see if that data point gives us anything here today. Excuse me. The other data point that we have that's related to this, 10 a.m. new home sales, and we also get the Fed manufacturing and shipments index. So that's coming here at 10. At 11:30, we get the 52-week bill auction. And at 1 p.m., we get the 5-year note auction. The big thing on deck here today, 2 p.m., FOMC meeting minutes. We'll see if that gives us any movement here today. So that is your rundown here on your economic events. James, where is the link to David's freebie? That should be in the chat. Let me see. I actually should have that as well. If you couldn't scan the QR code, that would be the same thing. Here is the link. Let me throw that in the chat as well. Thank you, James, for checking that out. Be sure to get that freebie there. Really good stuff here from David today. Okay, let's go ahead and start talking about some of the movers here today. I'd love to hear charts, or I'd love to hear, tickers that you folks would like to take a look at before we end up opening up here today. The first one that we are going to start with is the one that I think is on everybody's mind here. It's going to be Zena. This one had a huge move yesterday. Here we go. This is AI drone automation solutions, right? AI-driven autonomous drone solutions, I beg your pardon. You can see the huge move that we put in yesterday. We are gapping up here again today. We were up 258.7%, up another 62% here today. 4 points. I know a number of you traded this yesterday, had really good days yesterday. That is awesome. Stock resolving higher here today. So the next spot is going to be figuring out what are we going to do here with Zena. To discuss these movers, we're going to bring on the one and only 13. 13, happy Tuesday. Love the Texas shirt. How are you doing here today?
I'm doing pretty good. I saw that you were talking about Zena. You getting into something without me?
Well, kind of. You'll be happy to know that I took care of the embarrassing thing here for the show already and embarrassed myself, so you're off the hook. So that's really awesome. But yes, we are looking to get into the movers here. We're going to start with the big one. I figured if we started with Zena, the warrior princess, we'd have no trouble covering this because there's just an absolute ton of stuff to do on this. So your timing really couldn't be better.
Okay, I'll take that.
All right. So Zena here, we don't have any fresh news today. We just talked about the catalyst here yesterday, the PR about 47 billion, et cetera, et cetera. Here today, to me, it sure seems like this is just kind of trading on technicals. One of the things that I'd be looking for here today, can we hold $10, right? I know in the pre-market here, we've actually put in a low at 950. That would be another spot to add. But first, I want to see if we can hold $10 here. If we can, maybe we can curl back up, snap 12. 12 then puts the pre-market high of 1674 in play. 13, got to know, do you have a plan here yet hashed out on Zena?
Oh, I don't think I have a plan, except if it provides some setups to trade it. That's about the only plan I've got. One thing I'd like to see happen with this one first is getting back over that VWAP. If it stays under VWAP into the open, I'd be a little bit concerned. Do want to see it above pre-up first and foremost, but I think the movement that we're getting today is a lot of the Momo on the whole drone theme. Also, this and they also had a recent contract, but this is also relative volume too. So several things here driving this up. I think it's those three. This has a 1.93 million share float, so very easy to move around. Mm-hmm. Does need cash, but it's not losing much. It's also not making much, and it also doesn't have much until this contract came around. So,
okay, really good breakdown there. And really quickly, yes, of course, Izzy, can I get a shout out today for the call on Zena yesterday? Yeah. As a matter of fact, you can. In fact, we'll give you 13's shout out. You opened up a treasure chest for the rest of us here on Zena. Let's see if you can get it 2 days in a row here. This is definitely one I'm going to be watching out of the open 13, but I'll be honest with you. One of the things that I want to do is kind of wait out that opening move. I could see this moving in either direction. In an ideal world, we move to a support, hold the support, and that would be our buy spot. I got no problem being a little bit more patient here on Zena. Yeah.
And that's fine too. And I think when we look at some upside levels, if we get over VWAP, I think one of the ones you mentioned was 1260. I like that level. I also like 1180. So 1180 and 1260, those would be the two big resistance areas I think we would see the price run up to if it gets over VWAP, maybe even break out over. So those would be the two earliest levels I'd be watching for on Zena.
Yeah, and honorable mention, I'd throw 12 in there because that round number is definitely going to show you some type of resistance as well. Okay. Does anyone else have anything on Zena? I guess we did have, like we mentioned, we did have news yesterday. It's got minimal short interest. I don't think we didn't see any insider stuff. You already covered the cash position. Okay.
Yeah.
We should be good there on Zena. Okay. I'm going to keep running through the movers list since we're on this already here today, 13, and then we'll go back. We'll hit anything that we did not cover, as well as take tickers here from the chat as we prepare for the open here. The next one on the list is going to be no trade. This is the one at the top of the list here for me, likely the one at the top of the list here for you. This is PSTX. We always get asked about these stocks that gap up huge, especially one that gaps up 227%. But what's going on here? Poseida Therapeutic shares are trading higher after the company announced it will be acquired by Roche in a $1.5 billion deal, with stockholders receiving up to $13 per share in cash. This is an easy one. If you already have this one, your payday is today. Really good stuff there. Congratulations on that trade. No new trade here, as we're really not expecting much movement here with PSTX. Now, next one here that we can trade, Toyo. Ticker TOYO. Toyo shares trading higher after the company announced a $150 million contract to supply solar cells to a solar manufacturer. Okay, we talked recently, actually, I think we talked yesterday about solar being rate dependent. Solar here now, or this solar company popping here early. 13, did you break this down? You got anything on this? What say you?
Yeah, they received that $150 million contract. This company has 46 million shares in the float. No reverse splits that I could find, or any significant short interest. This is a company out of Japan that also has offices in Vietnam. They do business with internationally all over the Southeastern Asian area, as well as the U.S. And other locations. I think I saw some that they had in Europe, but they do have cash, but they have debt that's due in the next 12 months. That's a pretty substantial amount of debt. It's like 34 million, something like that. That's the only concern I have. But seeing as how they had a $150 million contract they got for solar cells, and that is more than their market cap, that would be one of the big reasons why it's moving right now. As a matter of fact, we just got a big move over the VWAP in this.
Yeah, we did.
This could start to really get going here. If you want to, if anybody's going to be pre-market trading, take a look at TOYO. This is giving some trades right now. Might move up to 640 in pre-market, but I don't know what we're going to get until we start taking a look at what it's doing in the open.
Okay. Sorry, finishing up something there. Okay, real good stuff. One of the things here, White Chocolate Mocha saying, I like Run. Curious to see how are some of these other stocks moving. Looks like there's barely any reaction here. Run's actually down just about 0.5%. So we'll see if that actually bleeds over into some other names here. A really good call about this crossing the VWAP here. It actually does look like we're trading up to one of those next resistance areas. 605 here, ticker TOYO. Okay, good stuff there. Let's keep moving. SMTK. I think someone was asking about this earlier when I covered SMTC, which is, of course, Semtech. They reported earnings. SMTK, this is Smart Chem here. This stock did pop. This actually drifted higher in the after hours, traded much higher today on volume here in the pre-market. Looks like 11 was the high print. Looks like we also found some resistance here at 10. SMTK, Smart Chem, and This was yesterday's news. So this is actually just moving on what happened
Arval.
yesterday. Interesting. Totally faked out by that. This is Arval. Okay, 13. What do you got here?
Arval. And this has a 1.54 million share float.
It's cash.
No recent reverse splits, no significant short interest. The only thing that otherwise it stands out is that this company needs cash and it needs it bad.
Yeah, it does. That's kind of what I'm looking at here too.
Okay. As
Okay.
far as the chart goes, I just drew a trend line here because I noticed that we kind of have that setup where we had a really high pop and then we've been making these smaller peaks every time it has a brief rally. That's created a bit of a trend here. So looking for that trend line to break. And interestingly enough, if we break this trend line, we'll also be breaking over VWAP. So I'm watching SMTK here as well for that break over VWAP too, because I think that's going to give us a good indication that this will go higher. Maybe the first level would be $9. Next would be 10. Wow, this is really paying well attention to the handles here. And then of course 1098, almost 11. So 9, 10, and 11 are actually levels in SMTK to watch for. So that's easy. That's really easy.
Yeah, I basically just eyeballed this trend off the 5 minute. Hopefully that's sufficient here, but I see exactly what you're talking about there. So, okay, really good stuff. Really, really good stuff there. SMTK. What do we get here? Float 1.5 million. You might have said that, but okay, perfect. That fits right in there as well. All right, next here on this list, MDAI. This is another AI name. We've actually traded this one off the relative volume scanner before. It's popped in the after hours yesterday. This is Spectral AI, ticker MDAI. I don't have news here. Anything fresh from this week. In fact, the most recent piece of news here I have is from Thursday of last week. So I'm not necessarily sure what popped this here in the after hours. Looks like we did get a little bit more volume here today, but I'll be honest with you, this kind of concerning, this action here. It looks like we popped on nothing and it looks like we're kind of trading back down. I'm going to do the same thing that you just talked about and eyeball another trend line in here. Do think we need to kind of get over this trend, maybe hold on to this. What do we have? 150, 160 area here before we see some more upside. Do you have anything here? I know there's no news here, so totally get it if you didn't break this one down. You have anything here, MDAI?
Well, it had a very large volume day yesterday comparatively to what it normally trades. So I think this could be just an R-ball move. Also, this is coming right up to where the 200-day SMA is. That is at 166, and we are currently trading at 160. So I think that 166 might be a resistance area. It looks like on the daily chart, this does want to try and go higher, but we might not get that movement until we open. A little extended away from the VWAP, more than I would like, but we should be able to get a bounce pretty soon. And if we don't, then maybe this goes back down to about 130, 125 before it finds support.
Okay.
But I think we need to see this turn around pretty soon and go back up towards VWAP. Otherwise, it's going to do exactly what I just said.
Okay. Real good stuff there, MDAI. Next one here on the list is one that we looked at yesterday, traded yesterday, and is on deck here again today. In fact, I think someone was already shouting this one this morning. I don't see it out there, but I think that you folks asked about this. This is going to be ticker UAVS, AG Eagle Aerial Systems. This is also going to be on kind of our drone theme here. You can see we had a great day yesterday, popped even higher in the after hours, popping twice here in the pre-market. Let me see if there was fresh news on this one. Nope. Nothing fresh here in terms of the news. Looks like this is just kind of going relative volume and the drone theme that we discussed. Go ahead.
No, I say, yep, drone Momo.
Drone Momo here. I do have the most recent reading here. 31.82% of its float shorted with only 1 day to cover.
Sorry to interrupt you. It's trying to take out 775 right now. It's trying to move up to take out that level.
Okay, so here you go. 775. That's not quite the pre-market high here, but that 775 definitely a resistance area. It does look like it traded above that and actually moving right above VWAP as well, is it not?
I have it over my VWAP.
Yep, yeah, it is over VWAP. That was the EMA that I had on my screen there, 9 EMA. Anyway, this kind of flagging up here. What do you got here, UAVS? What do you think on this one?
I didn't cover this one. We already know this name. This is just going to be kind of like Zena, another one of these drone Momo movements. I could look and see what the float is. I mean, I'm sure you have.
I got you here on the float. Already did that. 4.71 million. So this actually fits nicely into the float range that we trade here on some of these movers. So looking pretty good. The one thing here is that although we have had some volume pop already here today, we're actually not over the average volume. On average, stock trades about 7.5 million shares, traded about 3.5 here today. So that's what's going on here. UAVS. Okay, next one here on the list is going to be VC. We've traded this one before. You were asking somebody about this one recently. I can't remember the context here. This is one that we are familiar with. Did pop as high as 280, came all the way back in Tuesday. So join VC Health Executive live investor webinar and Q&A session on December 3rd. So we basically got a PR here about a virtual webinar or a live webinar. And that is causing the stock to trade up by 13.4%. Do with that what you will here. Pretty minor short interest here. Don't have a float reading. We are way over the average volume. Did you have anything here on VC? Totally fine if you don't.
No, I didn't.
Yep, no problem. All right, and then looking at the rest of the list here, Rivian, which we kind of already talked about earlier. Rivian obviously had the news about the $6.6 billion loan, excuse me, to create another EV gigafactory in Georgia. That's what's going on with Rivian. Vuzi is just kind of gapping up here. Vuzi to showcase full color, state-of-the-art, see-through, waveguide-based smart glasses at the upcoming event. We'll see how those compare to the Ray-Ban ones. You've done a really good job breaking down how the Ray-Ban ones really seem to be the right way to do any type of AR glass or goggle. Okay.
But before Ray-Ban even had theirs, Vuzi was already doing it with their Blade series, and they were like priced at like $1,200. So no one was really buying them because they were expensive, but they had great industrial applications, and that's what they were being used for. This also Vuzi was also an Intel darling. Intel had a 30% stake in Vuzi at one point.
Okay. Really good stuff there. Maybe that gets wild here today. Maybe we see that start trading up here. By the way, Lucid up 2.3%, probably on the back of that Rivian news. Really quick.
Isn't there another EV name that would go with that? So we have Lucid, Rivian, and then wasn't there one other one that's been really beaten up?
Neo or XPEV? Those would be the
It doesn't matter. I mean, we'll probably see it pop up on the scanner, but I thought there was one more, really junky EV name that, not Tesla.
Yeah, you said junky, not needed. Okay, we'll check in on that. Maybe it'll jog our memory when we talk about the EV tolls, Archer and Joby, which is coming up here as well. Oh, FSR, Geo, is that it? FSR, Mullen, 3D and Geo giving us those are other work, WRKS, Work Sport.
Wasn't FSR? That was Fisker. That's right. Okay, yeah, but that you're right. That one's bankrupt. Okay, but yeah, that was the other one, Fisker.
That was Fisker. Okay, it was Fisker. Okay, really good stuff. And then Mullen, you guys mentioning Mullen. Oh man, I don't even know if I want to. I don't even want to pollute this morning with Mullen.
Workhorse. Workhorse isn't a bad mention either. What's that like?
Workhorse Group here. This is basically flat here, 114.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, really quick, I wanted to check here in on Sava just because we talked about this yesterday. Obviously, the failed data thing absolutely cratered down 90%. Did get a bounce move in here. Looking at it here today, we are slightly higher than the close. Good luck if you trade this. Don't be greedy. If you get gains, be sure to take them. I wouldn't trust this. I'm going to be looking for some other names here today. Okay, let me flip back over to the chart tool. We can take names from the chat here. A bunch of you folks are throwing out Nikola. Can only think that you're joking around or trying to troll me. So we're going to avoid that, folks. And actually, let me fix my chart here because my chart is totally effed. Oh, let me try reloading here real quick. Give me a sec, 13.
All right. So SMTK looks like we're starting to get that move out of that over that trend line. Just need a little bit more volume. We'll probably get that when we open.
Okay. Here we go. Let's take a look. I said, or it looked like one of you was mentioning that Abercrombie ended up going green here in the pre-market. So really, really interesting. When I hopped on here and mention this. I had said Abercrombie, just to reiterate here, EPS 250 up from 183 year over year, sales 1.21 billion versus a 1.056 billion year over year. So good numbers there. When we first checked in on this, Abercrombie was down about 2.5%. Now it has gone green here. So it looks like 160 going to be some upside resistance. Whoever called this one, really good stuff. We'll see if we get more movement here on Abercrombie. 160, that was one of the levels. The next level in here, 166. Let's wait and see if we can end up trading above that. Really good stuff here on Abercrombie. Ticker ANF. Yeah.
Fairchild, yes, it was Nikola that was pushing its trucks downhill. And thank you, Tom. the good mention there. Wanted to also mention real quick, UAVS, it did pop over 775 to 787, and then it turned around. Now it's going back down to VWAP. So did get a little bit of that, did get that movement, but that was it. Wow, it's really starting to sell off now. Maybe we'll get some opportunities when we open, but for now, it looks like this is going to be leaking into the open.
Okay. All right. What other stocks do you folks want to take a look at here today? Yeah, you guys were just guessing the EV names. Let's take a look here. Palantir. Did you have one that you wanted to do, 13?
No, I was just saying Zena's getting some movement as well. It pushed over VWAP. This one's looking pretty good.
All right. Taking a look at Palantir here, just kind of getting a lay of the land. We are actually up about 0.2, almost 0.3% here. Palantir RSI still pretty cooked here, 71.5. I'd really like this to come back in. Honestly, I'd really like this to come back into $60. I might even be willing to try another trade there if it does come into 60. Past that, would really like to see this pull back 47, 48. That'd be a combination of the gap as well as the 50-day moving average there. So Palantir still pretty extended. I'd really like this to pull back before reloading my next trade. It looks like we have some sideways action going on here in Palantir. All right. 13. Jeff wants to know about Cooler. I know this is one of the stocks that is in your wheelhouse here. This, of course, had a huge move yesterday. We talked about this one yesterday as it was moving. Looks like it's doing a decent job holding its gains here in the pre-market. What do you think here on Cooler, ticker KULR?
I think it's getting a lot of headlines. They have been, well, they just had earnings, which were a little bit better than what they had recently. Their sales are now over 3 million. They're getting close to turning profitable. Lots of headlines about what they're they're getting contracts for, cathodes for nuclear fusion, U.S. Navy contracts for battery safety. Lots of different contracts here on the military side as well. So I'm thinking that Cooler is getting to be safer. I'm not saying it's a safe stock to just pick up and hold right now, but I think it's getting safer in the sense that it's the U.S. military is starting to depend on it for battery safety and battery thermal management. So still pretty early in this. They only are getting very small contracts at this point, but it's looking like this could end up being a pretty good company in the long term. The problem that I have with it is it's a share structure. It's very large float. Almost 200 million shares, and we're under $1. I'd like to see this reverse split to make it easier to trade, and it will do a lot. It'll trade a lot better once it does have a smaller float. They haven't announced that they're going to do that, so I don't know if they even will. I mean, they're getting in the pre-market. They went over $1 briefly, so I mean, if they end up getting back over $1 and regain that compliance, then they won't have to do a reverse split, but I think they should. I really think they should in order to get this this more easily tradable. What was the question here about where this goes? Because I mean, we're now over the 500-day SMA for the first time in years. No,
there was no question. It was one of the good old-fashioned, just the ticker. But I figured because we've kind of looked at this quite a bit, we might as well just kind of go through a general covering here. You're right. You're right about where we're at here with the 500-day. The other thing that I notice here, we're pretty much right at a former resistance area. Call that 90 cents if you want.
Back even further out, you'll see how that level is even more important. Yeah, so we're getting it looks like this is really starting to turn around now. We have had some movement that really extended the RSI, so could see that come back in, maybe get support from the 500-day SMA. But this is also on my space theme stock too, because they already have products in space with Lockheed Martin. So they will, I think they will be a big player, especially in this environment where we're starting to see rates get cut, more risk on with this current incoming administration. We talked about a lot about that yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these really beat up penny stocks could end up doing really well over the next, year, 2 years, maybe 5 years.
Jeff here adding to this, it was due to all the military contracts and the fact that they cannot break over $1. Thanks for all the info, Jeff. You're more than welcome. Thanks for showing up. One thing I will say here is it does look like maybe it's trying to break that $1 now. And we've seen with some of these stocks, Fairchild also mentioning here, they resisted the idea of a reverse split. Well, okay, if they could turn around, get back over $1, we talked about the NASDAQ and some of the different exchanges. This is on the New York Stock Exchange, but we talked about some of these exchanges kind of being a little bit more lenient with the sub-dollar stocks and staying on their exchanges. So wouldn't be surprising if they kind of turned it around here themselves. And then maybe if things start really going well, you get a buyback instead of doing one of those reverse splits. You kind of shrink the float over time with that. So, okay. Really good stuff there on Cooler. We got 2 more tickers here we got plenty of time. We got 15 minutes. Izzy, we are going to get to drug. Believe you me, we actually covered that live in happy hour last night. We're definitely going to get there. Let me get to these other stocks that were asked about before I forget, because that will almost certainly happen if I don't do this. SPAI being asked about by 3D here. This one has recently been all over the place for us. This is Safe Pro Group. Here's a look at the daily chart here. It is just an absolute gap fest here. Now, the good news is that we've really kind of pulled in off of this impulse move, and very much like MicroStrategy, although it looks extended, it does actually look like we're trying to carve out a support level here. So let's take a look inside and see what we can figure out. The one thing here for a trade on SPAI, I definitely want to hold yesterday's intraday low. Otherwise, I'm just going to kind of let this thing hunt for a bottom and then try to trade to the long side here. If we can hold 420, we can hold 420 here today. I do think we could get some action here. I don't see any news. Stock is down about 4.5% here. News was from yesterday, so nothing new here today. We're going to see if we get any type of follow through on that. Really not a whole lot of volume here. Gosh, 33,000 shares. We really need to see this volume kick up if we're going to see SPAI be in play here today. But again, just kind of looking at the daily chart here, it does look like it's trying to carve out this support level, which goes back to August 30th. Got anything on this one, or can I just move on?
You can move on.
Okay. Andrew was also asking about PaveMed. This is ticker PAVM. I can't remember the last time I took a look at this. This here, penny stock. Man, oh man. Why is this what we're looking at? Penny stock here, 43 shares have traded here this morning. That's right. 43 shares. No news here on PaveMed. This is multi-product commercial stage medical technology company organized with an advanced broad pipeline of medical technologies. I'm sorry, my man. I got nothing here on this one. I don't see anything really kind of going on with this. This chart looks like death. This chart looks like death. Okay. Next here that we wanted to go with was, oh gosh.
Did you cover drug? Yeah, because
nope, that's what we're doing.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure I hit all those other tickers here. So drug. Okay. Now, this one we have traded recently. This thing made some absolute fireworks here. Looking at the daily chart, you can see we were trading this one at the middle of October when this thing really started to go ham. We're really kind of carving out an area right now. The news here, though, we had an upgrade. This came last night as well. Baiynd initiates coverage on Brightmind Biosciences with an outperform rating and announced a price target of $75. Stock here was $39 in the after hours when we got that. Stock is up 15.5% here, up 6 points from yesterday. I would not be shocked if this thing is in play here today. I will say the volume in the after-hour session and the pre-market session, it's bigger than average for the extended sessions, but it's nothing crazy. It looks like it was pretty much all buying volume here. I want to see exactly what this thing does right out of the open. But keep this one on your watch list here for one of the day trades. This thing could be wild here today.
Yeah.
What do you got on drug?
Well, this was the fun one that we had, and we were just kind of like, hey, crazy number goes up to this high, and it did, and it went higher than that. Don't know if we're going to get that kind of price action today, but first level I'd be looking for looks like $50 seems to be a pretty big resistance area based on previous price action. Ever since, I mean, if you can look at a daily chart and draw a line at 50 and see in October into November, that was a big area of resistance. We did pop above it and then came right back beneath it and have not been able to get back above 50. So 50 would be my first spot I'd be looking at for drug.
Okay. We'll see if we end up getting that. I'll tell you what, up 6 points already from that. We know this stock can move. We could very easily get some movement on that. So, okay, really good stuff here. Glad you guys brought drug up as well. What other stocks do you want to take a look at here?
Jay Harris was asking if Apple has.
Oh, okay.
No, he was asking if Apple has some uptrend pattern. It would be good to take a long call on it. I can show you what I've got drawn here with Apple. Actually, I'll tell you what. Why don't you do this, Ryan? First, put a horizontal line at 233. And then second, we'll draw a trend line.
I screwed it up. Sorry. I thought I was going to be able to do that faster here. 233 was your spot on the horizontal line. Let's try that trend line now.
So the trend line, I want you to start from January of 2023.
Right here.
And I want you to draw the line up through October of 2023. October of 2023.
It's April. Okay, I can't see it. Sorry.
Okay, there you go. Then just keep drawing. There you go. So that's a 2023 uptrend, and I've been using that line to make Apple decisions for as long as I've had it on there. And it looks like this is it's starting to form an ascending triangle. So 233 is a really interesting spot to me because if you look at a weekly or even a monthly chart, you can see that has been a very big area of resistance. We have not been able to close above 233 except for once, and the very next week it went right back beneath it. So and we've opened above that level and came right back in. Now, if you look at a monthly chart, that's even more pronounced about how much of a resistance area that is. 233. We need to see some weekly and monthly closes over that level, and then I think you might see even more upside in Apple.
Okay. Real good stuff here. The thing about Apple, I tell you what, this should be a pretty good holiday stock. Looking at the chart here, it sure looks like this wants to go higher. Maybe we do break this 236-ish area for its all-time high. I agree with you on the 233. That's obviously been a huge support here. We'll see if we can end up moving higher here. Looking pretty good, though. Looking pretty good here on Apple. And this one is actually, when we've seen someone, we were talking earlier with David about the kind of rotation and how healthy that's been. Apple has actually been one of the stronger stocks. This has been one of the safer ones to be in. Does not seem to be as volatile as some of those bigger names.
And keep that trend line on because
I will,
because you can look at it in your free time and see how it's been support and resistance. Actually, there was a breakout over that line at one point in June this year. That was pretty nice. So anyway, I think that trend line's worth keeping around because it is helpful with making trading decisions.
Okay. Really good stuff. And Jay Harris saying thank you. Tom here, what's the magical, mystical team's outlook? I like what you're trying to do there, Tom, trying to bust out the alliteration. We'll take a look at Dell. Dell reports earnings tonight really quickly. The earnings tonight here, Dell, but we are also going to have CrowdStrike, Workday, Autodesk, and HPQ. So that is coming here tonight. Here is Dell. I don't have a line on this. This is not one that I follow. I don't have any predictions here on Dell. I would actually have to look and see what the estimates are here. See what we got. EPS 205 and revenue here 24.65 billion. Let's see, it normally does pretty well in Q3. Got some of its biggest earnings beats are in Q3. Oh my, yeah. So history has been kind for this quarter here on Dell. I don't have a prediction on this. Do you, 13?
So here's what I'll say about Dell. I like this company. I don't own it, but I like this company much better than SMCI anyway. It looks like it's trying to get back into the 160 area. The concern I have with this is that since its last earnings, which was in August, it was I think August 9th, they have gone up almost 60%. So that is a pretty sizable run up into this earnings. They better beat expectations, because if they don't, I think this could come back in pretty hard. That's a big run up to between quarters, between earnings. And usually when you see run ups like this into earnings, usually it's met with selling. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely it does. And that's actually what we saw on Zoom. We covered that here this morning. So really good stuff there, 13. If this does pull back here, look for that 122 level. Yeah.
And you know, with Zoom, the big thing that I noticed with Zoom is that was the smallest EPS beat they've had since 2021. So I think there might be, I don't know if what you discussed with Zoom, but it seems to me like they might be experiencing some margin compression.
Yeah, I didn't mention margin compression. That's a really good point. We basically just took a look to see what the actual numbers were. Company, there was mentioned that there was a company name change, although I didn't have that there. In any case, Dell here, I think, probably might perform a little bit better than Zoom. I don't know. We'll see, though. I haven't really been trading this. You make a really good point about this kind of running into the earnings. We'll see where Dell here goes. Sorry, Tom. I don't necessarily have a prediction here. I would say if this misses and it can hold that 122.5 area, if this pulls back basically to the 200-day, I'd feel pretty good about that. You can see how we've interacted with that 200-day so far. Now we're starting to get extended from it. Let's see if it has a good report here. It ends up. It's
not overcooked, so I could see it absolutely moving up to 160. That would be my if they have a good earnings beat and it's bullish and everybody likes it. I think 160 is where it's going. But again, the run up from we're talking 58 to 60% run up here from the last earnings. That's my big concern, and that's the really only concern I have with this with that move. So if it doesn't beat, maybe it comes back in, and like you said, test the 200-day SMA.
Okay. Really good stuff here. Going to shout out our producer, really helping us out here. Folks, we use Benzinga Pro every day. We talk about it every day. It's time to realize if you want the best sale that we offer every year on Benzinga Pro, it is right now. It is the Black Friday sales started right ahead of Thanksgiving. Go ahead and check out the link right here in the chat for 60% off. Yeah, 13.
By the way, I don't know if you mentioned it, but Friday, the market closes at 1 p.m.
Yes, we did mention earlier it is going to be a half day. The good news here, folks, we're going to be joining you. We actually got 13 signed on. I'm going to have a turkey hangover, but I'm going to be as happy as a clam. We're also going to have Anne-Marie on that Friday. So really, really good stuff. Enjoy your Thanksgiving leftovers with us as we make money. I mean, does it get any better than that, 13? I don't think so.
And Sideshow is saying that nothing exciting him yet today, probably going to chill a bit at the opening. And that is perfectly fine, too, because that just shows how much discipline he has. If he's not seeing anything that's providing him with any setups or potential to make any money, sitting on your hands is probably the best way to go. Don't get yourself hurt out there, folks.
Okay. Lion Atlas spamming AREC here. What is going on with ticker AREC? I don't have any fresh news on this. Most recent news was a $4 price target. Don't really see a whole lot of volume. Kind of holding where it was yesterday. Good morning, smoked tuna. Bonjour. Okay. Don't really see anything going on here on AREC. Sorry, Lion.
I can speak on some technicals real quick on this one.
Sure.
500-day SMA, it got a test from it. What was that, yesterday? Yes, and was rejected. So that is a big level to watch for. The 500-day SMA I have at 132. Yep. So we get through that. It's going to have to deal with a lot of consolidation up until about 170 or 180. About 180, yeah. So that would be the only issue I would have, but it also is about to form a golden cross on the daily. That's when the 50-day SMA crosses the 200-day SMA to the upside. And we should be getting that maybe this week. If not, then next week, as long as it holds above it.
Okay. Really, really good stuff there. Okay. Diamond, you want to go to cooler again? What happened? Why are we going back to cooler?
Is it doing something?
No. You were just asking for the resistance area. Yeah, it's that former high from April, 90 cents. 90 cents. Draw a line across the way there. You can see that 90-cent area, that $1 area, definitely going to be some resistance in there. Yeah. Okay. We are less than a minute till open. I'm going to flip over to my main workspace here. I'm going to get ready to go. Let's take a look at some of the stocks. IDAI, that's a penny stock. That's tramp stamp, as we lovingly call that here on the show. This is actually trading up here. I'm going to avoid that. I've donated enough money to that piece of junk. Zena here, on the other hand, we did break that 12 area. I'm still going to wait this first print out. I'm not going to jump on this right here out of the open. It does look like this is trying to go higher.
God, that was such a good move over the VWAP, and it held, back tested it, and now we're going higher. It looks like 1325 might be the next stop after 1260. We were talking 1260, right? Yeah, it looks like 1260. Yeah, 1260. 1260 it is.
Yep, right in here. Okay, we are open.
All right. Didn't hear no bell on your end.
Yeah, I fixed my. I guess maybe, is that helpful? Oh, you guys have your own bells. Yeah, I fixed my mixer here, so it's really only picking up the chat and the soundboard instead of all of the system sounds.
Okay,
so you should get less pollution, less noise pollution from me.
Zena lower out of the open, coming down to VWAP. Toyo
pulled as well.
Yep, but that's getting some support. Trying to recapture VWAP right now. We'll see if that gets happened. Oh, wow. ACHR pullback, says Izzy.
You know what? We never got around to that, to those EV tolls, ACHR and Joby. I'm going to go to those real quick, check how they're doing here.
Okay.
A bit of a pullback. It's not bad. Still above where I sold it at, so I'm going to need more of a pullback than this. Yep.
Cooler getting a push here. It just went over 85 cents.
That 90 cents area coming into play here. Cooler.
Getting close. Wait. Almost there.
I knew. I was like, yeah, this has got to be coming at some point.
IDAI also pushing up, looking for 40. Actually, just hit 45 cents. Through that now too. This one's going as well. Resting SMCI tanked. I'm going to take a look at that, see how that looks. Did we finally hit? Because we got to about 40, right? That was that's 40 to 50 is that consolidation. That's where I think we were going to get the big resistance. So we'll see if that's what happened. NDAI popped over VWAP at the open, and now it's coming back down. UAVS down, BC down, drug trying to hold on to VWAP. Zena halted to the downside. But Cooler and IDAI are ripping.
So you said Zena is halted to the downside here?
Yes, it is.
Okay, let me I got, obviously my signal's a little bit behind here. Go ahead and update my option flow as well.
Nice print biscuit. Chipping away at IDAI for about 19 cents.
Okay, so MSTR down here today. So this is actually one of the things I had on my list to watch for today. Oh, shoot, the chart error screwed up my drawing. Son of a bee. All right, the horizontal line, I actually remember it was 383.30. It was right in here. Actually the top of 383.40, I beg your pardon. Get that line back on here. 383.40. Okay, sorry about that. So this area right here on the daily chart on MicroStrategy, This looked like the makings of a support. So I wanted to see what the stock does here right around this. You can see we're right beneath it, but boy, oh boy, we are really, really close. Watch to see if MicroStrategy holds this 383 area. I have it marked off as 383.40.
How is Crow, by the way? Since you mentioned
What?
him, it sounded like you accidentally said Crow.
Did I?
Yeah.
Well, I must be off today. Sorry about that. I'll try.
No, it's okay.
Here.
But I'm not giving you a hard time about it. I was just kind of it made me wonder about him, how he's doing.
MicroStrategy so far so good, holding that 383 area. Interesting.
Daniel Akintunde is saying PGHL just went up 90% in a minute. Yeah, see, Felipe, that's what I was wondering. You know, how if he's doing, where he's at.
I can message him if
Ryan
you guys want.
me.
You want me to message him and see if we can get some cacaws in here?
Oh, you don't have to bother him. That's up to you. We don't have to bother him.
Well, if it's up to me, I'm going to bother him. I mean, you guys know me well enough. I mean, come on.
Cool. I'm off the hook then.
Okay, well done. Well done there. All right.
Looks like Toyo is turning around and coming back up. It's over VWAP now. Looks like it's trying to push up. 640 might be the first stop. 674 is the pre-market high. Yes, he comes when he's ready to finish the fight. That's a good one. All right, looking for 6 here in Toyo.
Nice little move through the view up there.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad.
No, sir. SMTK halted to the downside.
Now the halts are starting to work. Zena's still halted here to the downside. Okay.
VC turning around, coming back up. It's slow moving, but if we get a little bit more volume expansion, we could see this push further into the 2 handle here.
Hey, let's take a look here at VC.
Also on Bustle saying Lunar is climbing on our.
Well, you guys are fast.
On our watch list here for space stocks today, more red than green. Rocket Lab still up. Lunar cooler. Planet Labs up slightly, and then I also have no. That's about it. That's about all that's up. Unless this is what's going on here. Yeah, that's about all that's up. So just waiting for Zena and SMTK to unhalt at this point. Toyo still trying to get through 6, coming back down to visit VWAP. Drug not taking hold of that $75 price target quite yet.
I'm surprised. I would have thought that this for sure is going to pop here today. Now it's still early, so let's see what happens here. But I would have thought that this would have moved. It looks like those after-hour buyers got kind of hit there. Tramp stamp continuing to trade higher here. Excuse me. Nice little push out of the open. Looks like this set a high at 46 cents. I wonder if that gets taken out.
That'd be cool if it went to $1. Amazon
PDYN, this is one from recently.
Yeah.
A huge mover here. This actually curling back up after taking a break yesterday.
Amazon was getting a mention from Izzy. That one is up today again. That's actually today we're moving over the 20-day SMA, so that is a nice move. And then there is going to be a gap to fill from 207.34 to 210.88 if it ends up getting up that high. I'm not sure we'll see that today, but that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, real good stuff here and a real good recapture there of that 200 level, that $200 round price level. Here's what it looks like on the daily chart. This is actually a pretty good move off the 20-day moving average there. So this also in the face of some of those poor retail earnings that we got here today. Maybe Amazon going to be the beneficiary of that. By the way, Amazon running their Black Friday week sale. Has anyone bought anything cool? I will say I'll start. I actually got a pistachio dish, right? So I got a 2-piece dish where the pistachios in the shell stay on top. When you take them out of the shell, you throw the shells into the bottom bowl. Really convenient for anyone that likes pistachios. Let me know if anyone's got any killer Black Friday deals out there yet.
I haven't even actually looked. Oh, UAVS. This is turning around, recapturing VWAP, and we're going higher. This is with authority too. Let's see.
It's not on my scanner.
Yeah, I mean, it's just started to do it right now. It's trying to take out 150. I'm sorry, 750. It just did. I can't even talk fast enough at how quickly it's moving.
Okay, really good stuff here. Next resistance area looks to be 786. We'll see if we get that there. MicroStrategy, if anyone took that off the support level, oh, come on, platform. I'm not clicking on that. Let's go. Here we go. MicroStrategy continuing to trade back. Let's see if this actually takes out 400 here. Nice little scalp here on MicroStrategy. Way to go.
And UAVS is halted. Those of you that were mentioning and trading this morning probably even held it. Well done. That is a really nice pop. I mean, out of this halt, not sure what to expect we get out from this, but it could pop up to that 787 at the very least. So we'll see. So that's 3 halts today in the ones we were looking at. So Zena still halted, SMTK still halted, and now UAVS halted.
SMTC, not to be confused with SMTK, not halted. That looks like that got bought off the profit-taking dip we saw right out of the open there.
With
VTYX, sorry, 13. Ventix Biosciences here. This actually needs more volume, but this looks like this could go from the 230 spot. Sorry, what ticker was that?
VC. This one is now that these other ones are halted, it looks like they're trying to find something to trade. VC might be the one that they're attacking now. So we're getting some movement here. Not that great, coming up to 225 resistance area. But if we expand the volume some more, I think we can get 226 and then the pre-market high of 288.
Okay, good stuff there on VC. We'll see. Maybe we'll end up trading that one here for a move back to VWAP. Out of the MicroStrategy scalp, and I don't have the cojones, if you will, to buy and hold that yet. I'll let you know if that changes. I'm actually doing some digging into MicroStrategy at the moment because I don't fully understand it, and I think that there is an opportunity there. I'll let you know when I feel better about it.
Toyo got as high as 599, so it didn't quite get to 6, and then it lost VWAP and put a pretty bad 5-minute candle in. Now it's trying to come back up and recapture VWAP. Next time it gets near 6, maybe it breaks through it. So that's something to watch for Toyo.
Yeah, I've got 562 as that VWAP here in the broker. 566. Excuse me, 566 here in TradingView.
And
Zena, yikes. Let's check in on Zena. Is the Warrior Princess struggling?
No,
It just pulled into the halt.
Yeah, that's still the same halt.
SMTK
halted, okay. is unhalted though. And that's trying to get back above VWAP. Indeed. This is when we drew the trend line on. Looked like it was about to break over. It got rejected. So we need to see some volume expansion in this one. Like we need to see a good amount of volume in this one in order to get back up to those that $10 at 11. Sorry, the 11 handle, because this likes to go to 9, 10, then 11. So.
I love the Spinal Tap reference that right there. That was sweet. All right. Let's see. Brian, good morning, Brian. Good to see you here. Mentioning PDYN as this is flagging higher. Indeed, nice little bull flag right here out of the open. This flag was an area where we actually consolidated yesterday on PDYN. So this is actually an interesting spot. Wow,
Mara.
Abercrombie. Sorry, 13.
Oh,
Abercrombie here. You talked about this being lower, going green, and then immediately selling off, even through the open here, retesting this low area here, 148 ANF. Which was the stock that you were just looking at?
Oh, Mark 999 was mentioning Mara, so I was just looking at that one. We had some volume out of the open, but it's looking a little weak right now. Just waiting for, it looks like Zena unhalted. That's lower now beneath. It's trying to recapture the 65 EMA, but it opened beneath the 65 EMA out of that halt. Cooler. Watch that 90-cent mark. Level for a breakout. It's hammering it again, and if it continues to do that, eventually it's going to break out. All right, so Zena trying to recapture that 65 EMA, VWAP.
So next. Is that open? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
And that means VC is getting a little bit less price action, but still above VWAP. 220 is the high on that one. Looks like IDAI might be finished as that's coming back in after hitting 48.5 cents.
Here's Toyo. Looks like this is still not figuring it out. VC, actually, the VC looks like this might be trying to go back to that VWAP on VC. SMTK still trying to bounce and curl off the bottom here. Rocket Lab, stop me if you've heard this before, 13. Rocket Lab higher here today.
Oh boy. Like that space theme. A lot of the other space stocks are starting to turn green too. Now we have Redwire turning green. We have Black Sky turning green, ASTS turning green, and thus the UFO ETF is turning green.
Okay.
Foxo is a penny runner, says Market Sniper.
HOVR, also eVTOL penny runner at the highs while we're on the subject of penny runners.
IDA getting support from BWAP. Let's see if anything materializes out of that. Zena halted to the downside again.
Warrior Princess struggling today.
Yep. It looks to me like when we open, this could end up going to either 850 or 750. Maybe both. UAVS.
Toyo looking like this is trying to punch through that. Well, that's on the 1 minute here. Toyo looks like it's trying to reclaim the VWAP. I've got the VWAP here, 565. Watch Toyo here if this gets a volume pop. Watch
UAVS.
the volume.
New highs.
UAVS, here we go. Good stuff. Right above the pre-market high. Good stuff there, 13.
What number on Cooler would I go long exactly? Not up here.
I was going to say, weren't you buying that in like the 40 cent area or something like that? You're buying that much lower than where it was at.
Yeah, I actually, I probably should have held it, but I sold yesterday because that intraday move to 85 cents, that was killer. So I just said thank you very much. I'll catch you the next time you come down.
Toyo here, folks. Watch a VWAP move here. So this did come back to the VWAP. Watch and see if this pops over. There we go. Toyo, there we go. Toyo actually starting to get jiggy here. I sold that scalp a little too early. NCPL getting mentioned by Smoke Tuna.
6 is the big number for Toyo to get over, I believe, here. That's it was after it came back in from hitting that 674 high. It came back up to try to get over 6. It was rejected, and it has struggled to get over 6 ever since then. And now we're losing VWAP and going lower in Toyo. 6 is the big level on Toyo to get over. UAVS hit 8, and we're coming right back in hard. VC, watch for a breakout here since these other ones are going lower. VC might go higher.
This call here by Smoke Tuna, pretty good on NCPL. VC still closing that gap. This is coming back to VWAP. I think we feel pretty good about that.
Looks like 230s on deck here for VC,
right? Yeah. Yep.
So we'll see what happens up there.
Serve, good to hear mentioned here, Andrew. This is actually a nice flag off that volume pop on Serve. This has been a good one for us in the past. Looks like that's rolling here again. CrowdStrike, by the way, I am seeing some call buying here. This was a decent size sweep, 1,078 contracts. This is the 420 call, expires December 06. So that's going to be one of your monthly contracts here. I'm going to try and call some of these unusual option sweeps out. This is next week's call. 10-day to expiry there. Traders swept up almost 1,100, paid 246. That encompasses the earnings tonight, by the way. CrowdStrike. Sorry, VC.
Mm-hmm. VC. It's trying to hammer that 230. You need a little bit more volume than this to get through it, but it is really trying to push that. Okay, now it's coming back in, but yeah, it was really trying to hammer that 230. So we watch the volume on VC, watch that 230 area. We start to get that volume expand and take out the wall of sell orders that's right there around 230. I think this could end up going back up to like 266 and maybe even 288.
Fate, ticker FATE, Fate Therapeutics. This at the highs. This actually looks like it's trying to break the intraday highs. Voodoo, good morning. Hope you are well, my friend. NNE, this curling up here. Cooler, getting a mention from 13.
broke
Cooler
90.
above that 90 cent. There we go. That's what we were waiting for.
Yep. Just had to keep hammering it. 95 is next, and then over $1 as after that.
Okay, good stuff. So 95 and $1. Awesome stuff there, 13.
Just waiting for Zena to unhalt. UABS is halted to the downside. Waiting for that to unhalt. That one, ugh,
Toyo after that nice little pull. I guess I did do that all right here. Toyo, that nice little push up there. This actually selling off a little, holding its VWAP here. Might be another trade coming here. JMIA. All right, look at this. JMIA having a decent day here today. Do we have any news on that?
It's probably the same thing with the Amazon. The holiday season possibly.
No fresh news.
Yeah, so that's what I would think.
Jay Rice, it's great to see you here. Every retailer faded. And let me tell you something else, Jay. Speaking of the retailers faded, Abercrombie, the chasers got murked today. This started lower, went green. We actually called this as this was going green here. And then bang, big sell off down to those pre-market lows here. The rest of those stocks that you mentioned all missed, except for Dick's. I believe that was up a little bit, wasn't it? Yeah, this has now come back into balance here.
Great call, Izzy. Brick and mortar smacked. I think that's the case because you look at Amazon and they're not doing so. Yeah,
and actually DS here, giving you the one that's bucking the trend. Raise your hand if you're surprised that Costco is the brick and mortar that's higher here. Entirely unsurprised. My favorite store getting it done here today.
VC rejected that 230, but it's still getting support at 215. There's going to be a fight here in VC pretty soon. The loser is going to watch the price go in the opposite direction they want it to. Cooler now over 92. This could end up going back to $1, folks. Looking for 95 cents right now. Yeah, Rocket Lab ripping. Almost all the space stocks are turning green. ASTS went back to red, but they're kind of on the border of green to red. Iridium Communications, that's the one of the bigger ones that's down at 1.3%. Down. The only other big one that's down is Virgin Galactic Holdings. That's down 4%. Everything else is either green or on the verge of turning green.
Apple calls getting bought here too. This is another decently sized sweep here. 1,095 contracts, 237.5. And this expires tomorrow. Oh, excuse me, tomorrow. This Friday. So these are this Friday calls. Big sweep there. Apple 40 cents. Those are kind of cheap, but this is trading up here.
IDAI still holding VWAP, trying to turn around. The highs that we made here are 48.5 cents. So that's where it's got to go. And you got some ugly tweezers right there at that 48.5 cent level. But it's good to see that we're turning around here off this VWAP. So if we can push through that level, those highs, I don't know exactly where it's going to head. Let me see here. Looks like it could go to 57 or 59, somewhere in there next if we get above those highs that we put in earlier.
VC flirting with that VWAP as we speak here. Toyo actually trying to watch 580 on Toyo if that can push higher here. And then there we go on VC right through that VWAP. Bang.
230. That 230 was the big spot. Yep.
We were absolutely great call on that 13.
Cooler coming back in after hitting that 95 cent level. So let's see if VWAP can continue to support it. And IDAI lost VWAP, and that is going lower.
CrowdStrike continuing to trade up here on CrowdStrike.
MDAI turning around, getting some volume.
Jay here mentioning this is the opposite of yesterday. Buy the Mag 7, sell banks, small caps, very tricky. Tell you what, Jay's bringing up a really good point here. This does make it difficult. It's one of the reasons why the whole goal for my trading plan every day is to scalp some things, day trade some things, and have the swings elsewhere, because we do see these back and forth days, seeing that again here today. Crimp Biscuit mentioning that he wishes he lived near a Costco. You might think I'm stupid, but I'm going to roll with it. I am looking to move, and when I choose my house, it will be one of the requirements will be at least within 45 minutes of a Costco. So I feel you there. What's going on VC here? We continuing to trade higher? Sure,
it's going higher. 262 next spot.
250 your spot to watch there on VC. Big pull here took us beneath the VWAP.
UAVS, after that opened from the halt to the downside, that's trying to go back to green, currently under VWAP. SMTK almost to the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. This thing has done nothing but go down. IDAI trying to turn around. I don't think it will. Maybe later it can come back. Zena trying to recapture VWAP. It's going to take a bit. Cooler might push through 95 cents here. There it is. Just ticked a little bit higher, and we're now 96 cents.
Oh, this is going for
Looking
a dollar. It's the dash for a dollar right here. Volume looking good here on Cooler. That 90-cent level that we talked about earlier. Oh my, here we go. Cooler.
So 103.
I'm going to step away for just 1 sec. BRB.
All right, 103. That's the that's the next one. Scalp from 91. Nice job. All right, so there that one goes. MDAI, VC. VC's hit that level and then turned around, so we'll have to wait for that one to come back. Yeah, but Cooler looks like it could try for a dollar here. Lunar got as high as 1567. Wow. Rocket Lab up 10%, 2671, the current high on Rocket Lab. Looks like Drug finally turning around here, getting support from the 65 EMA on the 5-minute, still beneath the VWAP, or at least the one I have. Needs to get back above it. So let's see a recapture of 42.50. That would be a good start. What else do we have here? Quick $200 in Toyo. Well done. Anthony saying MSTR rocketing up. Take a look at that. See how that's doing. Yeah, I had a sell out of the gate, turned around, and we are going back up. It looks like 405 is the next spot. I mean, 400 could definitely be one of the next spots as well, but I think it goes right through that and hits 405. That would be the spot I'd be looking for, is 405.
Which stock? 405?
MSTR.
MSTR. How did we do it? Did that keep going after my scalp or not? Yeah, it sure did.
I think so.
Sure did. That's all right, though. I'm 2 for 2 here today. We out here.
Nice. Anybody buying rum on the news?
So really quickly here, just to recap, because we talked about that. Rumble bets on Bitcoin with the new Treasury Secretary. CEO called it an excellent addition. Remember, we talked about the rumor about Rumble adding Bitcoin to its balance sheet when the CEO tweeted that out. Looks like they're moving forward with that. That's what's going on here with Rumble. Let's take a look at the stock, ticker RUM. At the highs here. Watch for that pre-market high to get taken out. 780, your spot there. Daniel Torres, AMC question mark. Remember AMC. Okay, so this is spiking here today. Didn't this move yesterday on the new movies, Gladiator 2 and
Wicked?
Wicked, thank you. Good Lord. Isn't this this move yesterday attributed to that? Looks like we're right back at those areas here. Watch for yesterday's intraday high to break. I'd put 5 there. Daniel says yes. How did anyone see Gladiator 2? How is that?
I heard it
worth
was
it.
I heard it was terrible.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. I mean, Denzel's in it, and I love Denzel Washington, but
yeah, but it looks like the director went to him and said, "Okay, remember what you did in Training Day? Bring that energy." And then they put it into this period. Epic in Gladiator. It's like, why do you have a New York accent? I don't know. Anyway,
was he like doing PCP too? I mean, that's what he did in Training Day. I mean,
well, he had Ethan Hawke do PCP, but yeah. So
Felipe, it's bad. Denzel couldn't even save it.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Okay, well, you'll tell you what. I'm sure I'll catch it when it's on Amazon Prime, but I'm not taking time out of my holiday week to go see it. Voodoo, I agree with you. Training Day, that movie was incredible.
VC,
incredible. Anyway, VC. Sorry, I know you're trying to like make money here. I'm out babbling about movies.
No, actually, I was actually looking up Box Office Mojo because they have some pretty good information on the breakdown of ticket sales and costs and things like that. So here, I'll just link the. This is what I was going to take a look at to see how well those movies we were just talking about were performing. Wicked doing over twice as well as Gladiator from this last weekend that we had. But here, let me just.
Yeah, so I think and I'm going from memory here, so spot check me if I'm wrong here. I think Wicked did what, 114 million. Its projection was 120 to 140, so it was slightly under. Gladiator was 55.5 million. That projection I think was 60 to 80. So both of them under, but you're right, Wicked doing better there.
Yeah, so I would look for those, the box office figures going, after this next weekend, because that's gonna. I'm gonna watch for like the change in ticket sales weekend over weekend. I think that's going to be interesting to see how far that falls.
Yeah, no,
you're
right.
Oh, VC, here we go. We're about to break out of 250. Sorry,
Toyo also looking to go here. So VC and Toyo going at the same time.
Yeah, VC isn't quite breaking out of that 250 area yet. What's Cooler doing? Cooler coming back in.
I'm seeing a report here that there are unidentified drones spotted over 3 U.S. air bases in the UK. That is coming of Sky News. I don't think the market's responding to that. It caught my eye because we talked about drones recently. So what's going on there?
All right.
Anyone think that that's aliens? I'm just okay. We don't need to start that. I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens. We're not starting. We're gonna get. Oh man, we don't need to go down that road. It's too early for the ancient aliens memes to be coming out here. VC continuing to go higher.
There it is.
Toyo.
Yep, there's that break over 250 that we were looking for in VC. Next is going to be 265. That's that most recent pre-market high, and then the actual pre-market high being 288.
NCPL, this was a tuna call as this moved through VWAP earlier. This is still holding through VWAP and actually looking like this might try and go higher here. UAVS is open and trying to reclaim the VWAP. Zena flagging a little bit lower there. Yeah, Jay, we had mentioned that Musk made positive comments on drones versus jet fighters yesterday. Those drone stocks. How is AVAV doing? And how's RCAT doing? That's been one of the big winners for our group recently.
What exactly was the comment?
I don't have them handy. Jay, if you have them handy, that's awesome. Otherwise, I can try and find it.
Was it alluding that drones are going to be easily able to take out these fighter jets? Or was it more along the lines of fighter jets are now going to be paired with drones and they're going to have drone fighter wings?
REPL, we talked about this one after reporting earnings. Looks like that had a really good pop, came all the way back into the earnings level and is now pushing up off that. Here we go. Thank you. Thank you, producer. Drones spotted again over 3 U.S. air bases in the UK. It comes after identified drones were previously spotted between Wednesday and Friday of last week over the same 3 air bases. Just saying, it might be aliens. Just saying.
Toyo, this one might be turning around here, trying to get back above, trying to get 6. Still looking for $6 on this one.
Toyo looking good. That 6 breakout. I'd be interested in that on Toyo here. Already traded Toyo once on a scalp, but do it again. Now I've got some profit built up too. VC pulling back to the VWAP on VC. EDYN. Let's take a look at some of these bigger stocks here and see how we're doing. Apple traded up 235 and kind of stopped there and came back in. Holding right at its VWAP after moving higher here. Amazon, Izzy's been all over Amazon here this morning. This ripped out of the open. This actually looks like this might try and go higher here, Amazon. Abercrombie and Fitch, we talked about the reversal here in some of those retail names. Looks like you're setting up for another leg lower as the pre-market lows look to be getting taken out here on Abercrombie, ticker ANF.
Yeah.
Tramp stamp right at the VWAP. Maybe that pushes higher. By the way, a big shout out to the group for coming up with the nickname Tramp Stamp for IDAI. I realize that I think I've only addressed the stock as its nickname, which might be confusing to some people. Sorry about that. Ticker IDAI, company's T-stamp. We affectionately call it tramp stamp.
It's even funnier when we call it an ex-girlfriend.
It's actually funnier that tramp stamp was invented, if you will, by a female member of our group. So one of the reasons why I carried it forward, it was just too funny, made me laugh too much.
Consumer confidence highest of the year. So I guess we just got that print.
I had mentioned that. I had set that up. Thank you for the reminder here on that. Let me go ahead and get you those. All right. Going to go over some data here with you. Yep.
And new home sales too. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me go over the data here for you. We're going to start with the consumer confidence. US CB consumer confidence for November, 111.7 versus the 111.8 estimate. 2.1 was the prior read. That was revised. This looks like this was right in line. US new home sales for October, minus 17.3%. Minus 17.3%. The prior read was a 7% gain. Big swing there. Richmond Manufacturing Index for November, minus 14 versus the minus 10 estimate. The prior read was minus 14. That looks like that was in line.
Looks like the home builders are not taking that news very well.
This is great because someone was just asking, I think it was thinking about it, asking me to follow up with Matt Maley yesterday regarding his looking to short the builders here. One of the ones that he mentioned was extended was Toll, ticker TOL, Toll Brothers. This actually down 2.2%. This was, okay, so this was flat in the pre-market. This actually looks like this might be rolling over here. Let me take a look at the options chain while we're talking about this.
Thinking about it. Xenophobia. Yeah, this one is looking like it's going to go back down to the 200 EMA on the 5-minute, which I have at 757.
Okay, Toll Brothers option chain. There's enough volume in here for you to trade it, but it is a little on the lighter side here. So just FYI, what's Walmart doing here today? Walmart is higher. Damn, my short's going to get obliterated. But thankfully, Elf is holding me.
Is it? Is what? Walmart higher, really?
Yes, Walmart is higher here today. 90 prints on ticker WMT.
Oh, I didn't quite get it to above the highs from yesterday.
Highs, no, barely. We tested it. The highs, though, from yesterday, it depends how you technically look at this. The highs yesterday were put in the pre-market. We never touched that in the regular session.
I'm referring to the regular session.
Yeah.
The regular session.
We were close to that. Yes. Sorry.
No worries.
Your toll put going out to March, thinking about it, I like your strategy here. I think it's probably better to hold that through the new year. There are 115 days on that contract, and actually some decent open interest in that March contract as well. Thinking about it, I think you actually did that correct. I shouldn't say actually. You do most things correct. I like that. I like how you positioned that trade there. In Toll Brothers. Yeah.
Smoke Tuna mentioning Q3M. This one is getting some movement right now. It just broke over the VWAP.
This is one from yesterday. That's that quantum theme. Watch some of your other ones.
Voodoo. I just started looking for it yesterday. I mean, I'm sure I've been saying for a while that this thing needs to turn around, but since we put in that tweezer top yesterday, I was thinking that that could be a signal that the top is in for now.
Yeah, and by the way, so I'm glad you're mentioning this here, and I'm glad Voodoo asked because I'm actually already short this. I'm short with you via the 83 puts. I actually might add, might go after the 85 put now that we've moved several dollars higher. Here's the tweezer top that 13 was talking about. Looks like this is getting negated, at least so far. I'm trying to short this. To me, the monthly chart tells the story. I mean, Walmart generally doesn't have moves like this. Look how extended this is. I mean, just a crazy move here on Walmart. I'm already short this. It's not going well.
Rigetti is getting mentioned. This is trying to turn around. It had a bad pre-market this morning.
Did that have a 250 break? That's what we're waiting for. Yes, it did.
Yes, it did. Yeah. Yep. So trying to get back up to the 65 and 200 EMAs on the 5-minute. Looks to me like the next big resistance for this is going to be 275.
Nick here. I did not mention this here today. Let me check this out. Nick here asking, did you guys already touch on it, or did anyone notice Lunar, ticker LUNR? Nick using voice to chat there, or voice to text there. Love it. Nick, hopefully your recovery is going well. Yesterday afternoon had an individual sale of somewhere north of 500 shares. So this wasn't an insider. This was just you can see it on the chart, right? It's going to be this red volume stick here that really sunk the price, Nick. So that clearly happened. Was this an insider sale? I don't think so. Last one I have here was November 20th.
VC absolutely exploded.
Oh, yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. Sorry, I was looking up something else here. Really good call. You were on VC. You were on this setup. You kept me on this really good stuff. Anyone that traded this one's shit, I missed it.
Thanks for it, Charles. He just literally said that too. Wow, talk about timing. I mean, let me see if I can find the news. Was it
There's Crow. Look, we got him. Caw, baby. Right. He's here. He just saw VC go and he's like, I better tell the group.
Fairchild, is he posting that on X? Is that what where you're getting that? Wow, look at VC go. It's gonna. I mean, I'm surprised it didn't halt. Looks like it's going to though.
Not and it can't chase this one here.
Yeah, I think it's.
But my gosh, this is more than $1 move, folks.
Yep. And
wow, what a move here on VC. Really good stuff, guys. Really good stuff on VC.
All right, so now it's
really
time
good
for them
stuff.
Time for them to hit the other ones now. So let's see what's moving. So we got VC halted, UAVS trying to get support from 65 EMA, MDAI. That one looks like it's going lower. SMTK still trying to break that trend line beneath VWAP as well. Toyo, that's been sideways all morning, currently beneath VWAP. Zena might get support from the 200 EMA on the 5-minute, which is down around 760. Not seeing a whole lot else. Looks like cooler.
Vuzi maybe curling off the bottom.
Yeah, cooler down. Just locked in a stop. Nice. Webcoin saying ASPI is tanking. That's airship, I believe, right? ASPI.
ASPI is ASP isotopes.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's same letters.
AISP. AISP is airship. You were real. I mean, it's just. I mix those up all the time. That's a doppelganger here. This is actually getting pounded on volume. What's going on with this? ASPI.
Is there news?
Rumor. Yes, rumor. Watching ASP isotope. Shares move lower as traders circulate. Report issued on the company.
All right, get ready to buy.
I was going to say, let's not say that just yet. Who did it? Who did it? And actually, but your initial plan here, 13, not terrible. Watch to see if this does bottom and maybe give us a bounce on that. Let me know, folks, if you know what short house is doing that report. I haven't seen that yet here. AISP continuing to pound lows as we're watching this.
Okay, I'm going to try to find some levels here. Okay, 525 might be a bounce spot. I don't think it'll ultimately hold there, but I think if you're trying to capture some movement, bouncing at 525 might be something that happens, and then it'll go lower.
I don't see anything on this ASPI yet.
It's kind of reversing right now.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe it's bouncing here. Might try some right here. Going to have a real tight stop on this. I got 573 as my buy price. Stop here. Going to be 560. Going to make this very, very clean. Let's see if we bounce here. AISP. Let's see if we got any more news on this short report.
Toyo finally getting hammered out of that consolidation, going lower. UAVS might turn around. And what's Zena doing? Zena's trying to turn around as well. We'll see if that's going to happen. Cooler. This thing's down to it's 65 EMA on the 5-minute. I think it's going to end up going lower too. Might
Okay.
end up might have seen the high.
ASPI bouncing a little bit there. I'm just going to take that. Not a whole lot, but a little bit of a bounce there. Just took that. We're 3 for 3 here today. Now we've got some more. I'll see if we can get another spot here. ASPI. Okay, I'll take that. Not terrible.
Yeah, cooler's down. It's at risk of losing 80 cents.
Tell you what, that 90-cent area was definitely an area. Oh, really only went, what, 6 cents past it, 7 cents past it? But what a bummer.
Your ASPI must be doing pretty good. It's really turning around.
No, I'm out of it. I'm out of the scalp now. So that is continuing ASPI. That it was good. I mean, it was
Yeah.
but man, oh man. Are we going to halt to the upside here? No. It's still trading. Sorry.
It's moving way too slowly, yeah.
Really good bounce there. Good idea there. It's all about the volume. I took my gains just a tad early, but still got some gains. Zena getting a mention. This curling back up. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Brian, it's kind of funny. This is a time they should be going into hibernation.
I was going to say they've been in hibernation the last 5 games. Oh, wait, you're talking about something else.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Yeah, LOL. Izzy, come on. Better too early than too late. Am I right? Crow, nice trade. Thank you, man. ASPI, that was actually
VC's
good,
open.
though. We called that. We called that. VC is open.
Yep, 340 new high, coming back down. Maybe get support from that 288 if it goes that low. If we go higher, let's see where we could end up there.
Right. Okay. Brian, they just beat the Commanders, who I think are kind of a fraudy team, but you didn't hear it from me.
If VC goes wild, I'd say 575 is a possibility.
Ooh, 575.
Yeah, if it goes wild, let's make sure that bullet point's there.
Hustle and bustle. Time to sell the houses. I'll tell you what, you'd be single-handedly helping the data print that we just got on new home sales here. By the way, I actually had forgot when you mentioned this earlier that you were part of that. Remember here, when we were talking about those home sale numbers earlier, Hustle and Bustle gave us a data point I skipped over. I'm sorry. Remember that those housing numbers were during 6 to 6.5% mortgage rates. We're over 7 now. So it looks like that that lower number you're kind of expecting based on the interest rates. That would make a lot of sense. And ASPI, that is still bouncing here. Can I get my shares back?
BC might be flagging.
Yeah, Brian, there was something like, I think 30-something points scored in less than 2 minutes. It was like the full game worth of points scored in the last 2 minutes of the game. That was actually really fun to watch.
Just kind of looking around here.
PDYN, watch that 520 spot if that goes higher here. PDYN.
All right. VC, I think it's giving a flag here. Something to watch for.
Crow mentioning here, PGHL has been halted 30 minutes. That's never good. Are you in that one, Crow? Or you got your money tied up in that one?
Fairchild.
Oh my God, this thing had a huge move today.
Turn those machines back on. That was a great moment in the movie.
Which movie?
But your brother, fuck him. Turn those machines back on. Trading places.
Oh. Okay, I got it. You know what? I need to brush up on that. I'll be honest with you. I don't have my Trading Places quotes lined up. I got to do that. I mean, you guys are giving me homework here, but it's good homework.
That whole end of the movie was just great. That whole ending segment from the short they were doing, and and the margin call. There's a lot of things that traders could learn from that movie, and even maybe prompt them to find out what some of these things are.
Really quickly, Nick, you're asking what was the news on ASPI? News here was a rumor. This is actually, and really quickly, look, I'm going to tie this to Benzinga Pro, so it's soapbox time. One of my favorite news categories in Benzinga Pro is the rumor category. We have a tag for it, and one of the things that I do is I actually highlight it in this kind of pink, magenta, fuchsia, whatever the hell it looks like to you. It stands out. Whenever I see that on the news, it stands out. And remember the old adage, buy the rumor, sell the news. So here we had a rumor about traders circulating a short report. I can't find the short report anywhere. Let me know if you guys find it. Not in here yet, but that rumor caused the stock to really sell off, and I was basically just playing a bounce play here. Looked like the sell-off was kind of slowing down. Took it, booked the gains, it went higher. That's what's going on with ASPI. The next thing that we need here is an actual link to the short report so we can check it out and go from there.
Yeah, now, as far as this bounce goes, it may only go up to VWAP and then turn back around. I have that at about 675. So for ASPI, if you're trading this bounce, I don't think we get much higher than VWAP because this is putting in a bit of a bear flag. So I would, if I was trading this, the way I would do it is because I would already be in it from the bounce. If I was going to go up to VWAP and be out there, that's how I would do it, just to take the risk off my plate.
Sell, Mortimer, sell. This is, of course, the line everybody knows from Trading Places. Yeah. And James, your test has passed.
All right. So VC still has.
I love that the chat is literally just full of Trading Places quotes right now. Like that, you guys absolutely did it. Fairchild, you opened the floodgates here this morning, my man.
VC not getting that so far, not getting that bear flag. Maybe it needs a little bit more time, but it's coming down to VWAP. Hopefully we hold above that. Drug has not been great today, so that price target nobody really cares about at the moment. Maybe later. Looking around to see what's happening here. Got a mention from IDAI. Says Daniel. This one's trying to get back above its VWAP. At least that's what I see on my screen here. Once it does, then it can try to push into that further into the 40 cent area. SMTK, maybe it's finally breaking that trend line. Maybe. Let's get some volume expansion here, and then we can really see this move.
MDA offering news. Did we get a mid offering?
Uh-oh. Let's see.
Yep. Repricing of its public warrants. So it reprices 8.4 mil of its public warrants with an exercise price of $11.50 per share to $2.75 per share. Expects to receive up to 23 million in net proceeds. Okay, so it looks like, so this is interesting, right? So if I'm reading this, if I'm understanding this correctly, they're getting a cash infusion of 23 mil by lowering the exercise price of the warrant from 11.50 to 2.75. Stock's at 142. Yep. So you really don't even need a whole lot more movement for the warrant holders to be able to exercise those then.
VC, I think we're getting the turnaround here. If you're trying this trade, this might be the resolution of the bull flags. Let's see if we get that.
Might join you on this one. We'll see.
SMTK still waiting for some volume to come into that one. IDAI trying to push through VWAP. See if that gets that. So just waiting to see if VC is going to do something here. We need a little bit better volume.
I did take some VC here. I'm going to have stop right beneath this low print here. 275. Oh, God, we're going right to the stop.
It might flush out.
Yep, it might flush me. We'll see.
VWAP.
It's small. Yeah, it's small.
Yeah, because I think it could also go to VWAP and then find support there. But it looked like it was starting to turn around or find a bottom. CELH sued for securities law violations. And what
looks like that short report on ASPI was a Fuzzy Panda short report. Fuzzy Panda. Okay. Wasn't that one of the bad ones?
I think it was.
Okay.
But I leave that to Jay to tell us. Jay Rice, is that the good one or the bad one?
Well, this actually rolling back over, going for some new lows here.
Yeah.
Interesting. Let me go back to VC here. We'll see if this materializes.
Lots of things slowing down. Yeah, VC is still kind of holding.
Setup's not bad here, though, on VC, especially as long as it holds this area. This isn't terrible at all.
It just needs to see some expanding volume, and we're off.
Here we go. Webcoin, appreciate you. Failed tech plus paid stock promotion plus microcap fraudsters equals nuclear meltdown. VC here.
Mm-hmm.
Purling. Watch this $3 level.
Yep. That's
I got
it.
I got a little bit of size there at 304. I want to see a break above 3 to close this. I don't have a whole lot, so
yeah. No, just a little bit of a low risk trade here on a technical bounce with the bull flag set up. I mean, it could go back up to 340, maybe higher if we get the volume. Just need that volume. Looks like IDAI is trying to push through that VWAP. That needs volume as well. VC, right there at 3. It's right there. There's really a fight there at 3, isn't there?
Yeah, we want to see it break above 3, though. Again, that size still looking at 304. It's not a whole lot, though, if that breaks through.
Yeah, there's a bigger size at 310.
Okay. Let's get the juice here then. Let's see if we can get above.
Seeing a lot of okay, looks like ASPI is getting a little bit of a bounce. This could end up putting in a pretty good amount of wicks down here. That would indicate this is turning around.
Here is your ASPI. Looks like it's trying to bounce off 6 there.
They just put a huge wall at 3. Watch.
I was going to say on VC, they just threw 21,000 out there on that wall.
Now, if we get a big volume expansion here to take it out, guess what it's going to do?
It's chipping it.
Dude, look at that.
310 was the one that you had that next size at. Is that right there, Teen? On
VC? Yes, 310.
Okay.
Yep. So they just hammer that wall down. Yeah, Nicholas, I think that's the trade. I think so.
Yeah, I kind of did that here, but in a much quicker time frame. I'm basically looking for the dead cat, but I given Fuzzy Panda, I kind of think that that's what the trade should be. Nick, I'm with you on that. Just make sure you have your risk tolerances in line, and you'll be fine on that trade.
Yeah, just waiting for VC to do the
I'm
thing.
watching VC like a hawk. Sorry about that. I'm probably too locked in here on this. I'll keep flipping around here on Zena. Zena coming back up.
All right, VC. It just took it.
There it goes. Okay, closing. Nice. Scalp.
Oh, dude.
4 for 4 today, folks.
And there it goes.
4 for 4.
There it goes. It's approaching 340.
This is still going here.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, it could resolve higher, but the risk. Yeah, I think getting out when you did is probably the better move.
Just sold into strength. Look, selling into strength keeps me green. That's just the way I kind of look at it. Really good stuff there on VC. Great call by the entire group. I traded that because of the group's calls, not because of my own eyes. The group's calls. I was in that. Made some money off that. 4 for 4 here today. Really good stuff again here on a T3 Tuesday. Oak Island Tuesday. I'm so pissed off that I called David by the wrong name. I'm so angry at myself. He was really cool about it, but damn it, Ryan, do better.
Yeah, but I'm sure with time and counseling, you'll.
Well, the last guest we had, I called him by the last. It was Darren, and I called him Darren. It was because I was looking at a note sheet.
Keep
Upset with myself. 2% better tomorrow, though. Promise.
Keep an eye on UAVS. The volume's garbage right now, but it's putting in some bottom wicks here, and it looks like it might try to curl, and if it does, it could get some more attention. So just keep an eye on it. I'm not saying it's doing anything right now, but it could be getting ready to. So just keep it on your radar. I'm saying. Yeah, VC, that was cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. Toyo continuing to move down here. That might be done. I think Smoke Tuna put the nail in the coffin earlier on Toyo. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tuna. If you did, that was a good call. This thing looks done here. MDIA, huge pull. Arrowhead Pharma. Interesting. So this is up 19% ahead of its earnings. Did we get other news here on this? Ticker ARWR. Sarepta announces global licensing collaboration with Arrowhead Pharmaceuticals for multiple clinical and preclinical siRNA programs. Arrowhead to get $825 million in Sarepta licensing pact, appoints a Sarepta CEO to the board. All of this ahead of earnings. I wonder what that means. Interesting stuff.
It means sell on earnings.
Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, they release the good news now, get everyone feeling good, stock up 20%. Oh, by the way, we missed earnings. What was the ticker that you were just looking at? I ran you over. I'm sorry.
I think it was I don't know.
Okay, so it must not have been terribly important. I just felt bad.
Oh no, it was MSTR.
Oh, MSTR. It's MicroStrategy. Yeah. It's super important.
Yeah, it's got a nice green candle there.
Yep, go ahead.
And Fairchild, that's a nice brain to have. And then Srikar, I guess we'll say, is asking that we look at CRKN. Take a look at that. It's Crown
Kraken. That thing's like a 8-cent penny stock, or did it reverse?
No, CRKN. That's Crown Electrokinetics.
Yeah, we call it Kraken because it's released the Kraken. It's 37 cents, so it is definitely the penny stock. Chart looks like absolute death, just reverse split into the ground, just complete junk. So unless I'm missing something here, I mean, this thing is.
Yeah.
Jay Rice doesn't. Real quickly, Jay Rice, true or false? This chart reminds you of Mullen. True or false? I'm sorry, I don't really mean to be crapping all over some of these penny stocks, but some of these are just no good. Martin, what did you miss? Man, you missed a series of Trading Places quotes. You missed a rundown on all of the big news stories. You missed me call my guest the wrong name. You missed a lot of jokes, and you missed a lot of good trades here today. I personally am 4 for 4. The room has absolutely been popping on some of these day trades here today. So missed quite a bit, but we're glad to have you now.
So
no other chart reminds me of Mullen except Dries. Okay, this is an OG answer right here for any of you that know where Dries is. Oh God, Jay, that's so good.
So anyway, VC broke into new highs, 354 now the new intraday high. I was looking at CRKN. The company looks interesting, but they just had earnings earlier this month that looked pretty good and they guided well, but I'm not exactly sure what the problem is that's got it beaten down so much. There must be something else going on that I don't see. Maybe they don't make money right now, that's for sure. They are going to need to raise cash. They do have some revenue and they expect it to grow, but they might have to raise cash before they get there. So one other thing they have to do is reverse split. I think that could actually make this stock move really well. And that would be helpful for their compliance because I'm pretty sure they need to regain it being under $1 and all.
Tesla popping to the highs here. 346. Nice little move here on Tesla. Webcoin. I remember Dries. Man, look, anyone that was around trading that remembers Dries. Those were some wild times. The Wild West, as I like to call it.
Diamond Hotline Cooler looks like it's put on the 5-minute. It looks like it's putting in a bear flag. So if we cannot recapture 80 cents and hold above it, I think it's going lower under 70.
Jaskell, you guys are hilarious. Now I need to learn a few things so I can make hilarious money. Stay at it every day, and those gains eventually will become laughably big. We do try to bring entertainment to the group here, though. That's important. I'll tell you what, if you just stared at screens all day and just looked at numbers and news and stuff all day,
you'd be begging for this stream.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, you just be so tired. It's like, oh my God, I couldn't deal with that every day without introducing some excitement. HSAI running away. HSAI. Oh my God, Tuna. Yes, it is. What happened here? Trading higher to come report better than expected Q3 sales results. This was yesterday after hours.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? I'm going to take responsibility for this one. I'm sorry, guys. With this reporting earnings, did this have a wild pre-market?
No, not really.
No, it went up a little bit. And yeah, it was really the regular session that did it here. I can't cover everything that reported earnings, but this one had a pretty good move. I'm
pretty sure this is getting pumped. And the reason I say that is because something like, okay, so it's a China stock for one.
Yeah.
For two, the float being 115 million, that's pretty heavy. That's a large float to move. The news is, it's not moving off of that particular news as if it just came out. It's been out for a while. I think this is just getting pushed up. And when this rally stops, it's going to probably come in very, very hard. So be careful with HSAI.
LiDAR getting mentioned here in the LiDAR getting mentioned here in the blurb about what it does.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's been a bit of a hot theme, but I think, even the earnings didn't even look that great to me. The EPS miss. They had a sales beat. They expect revenue to approach 100 million. But yeah, I feel like this is just getting artificially pushed.
VTYX, this did go from that spot earlier. Paul Lopresti, I recognize that name. Paul, that's a really well done snowman right there. You know what's entertainment to me? Large green numbers, $. Amen, brother. Amen. We will keep trying to get that those big green numbers up there. That is for sure.
Yeah, I had to look at the time and make sure we weren't almost done because, when we have fun like this, it just kind of seems to tick away.
Flies by.
All right. Still looking to see if UAVS is going to turn around here. It's been going sideways for a little bit, so I'm thinking it might be trying to put a bottom in, but not confident on a reversal yet.
Toll, this is actually a nice move since those housing numbers. This has done nothing but move down recently on Toll here. ASPI getting mentioned here by Graydon. What's going on with ASPI? Bouncing yet?
That looks like it's turning around.
Yeah, this was what a bottom normally looks like. So it looks like it's kind of figuring out that price level down there.
Look at a 15-minute chart, and you see these wicks at the bottom here. That's typically a good sign. The buyers are stepping in to bring it back up. It needs to get back over VWAP at 650, but that's it's looking like it wants to turn around.
Yeah. Matt, bringing up NEP here. This one has been a frustrating one, honestly. I'll tell you what, though, we talked about this. This was a Tim Melvin pick. This is a high dividend paying stock, which is one of the only reasons why I'm still messing around with this. I am down on this, by the way. I'm down almost 10 full points on this. I almost didn't even realize I don't have the biggest position in the world. This stock, look at the yield on this, man. 14. I've collected 3 dividends on this now, and they have been gigantic. They are offsetting how much I'm down on this. The other thing is that when NEP came in towards 15, right down here, 15, 16, I was actually adding. So I'm up on some of my ads. What's going on here? Yeah, there's some green malaise. There's some of the green energy malaise here. I don't know, though. There might be something else going on here with this one. Their dividend does not appear to be at risk, which is the whole reason why I'm staying in this trade. So I think maybe they probably spin off Next Era on one of these. I don't know what's necessarily going on here. Like I said, as we really kind of move to this lower level here where we were oversold, I have been adding. The dividend is awesome, and I don't really think it's in jeopardy. But man, oh man, I'd like to see this really kind of turn around. Honestly.
Morning,
Sorry, I don't have more 4 on you, Matt. I'll update you when I get you something.
The Crow
Good morning,
mentioning the GME has been getting love. Smoke Tuna saying Q3M setting up. He's also mentioning PDYN. Oh, cost of popping? Oh gosh, are the meme stocks back? I guess it's also kind of in the retail sector as well.
Stay Focused mentioning someone on CNBC sold it. Okay. Did they mention why? Did they mention anything? The big thing for me is the dividend. They pull that dividend, or they substantially cut that dividend. I think that stock takes another leg lower. I don't want to be there for that. But I've tried to be pretty good about using the profits from the dividend and then re-adding that back into the stock at depressed levels. So far, that's worked. It can work until it doesn't, frankly.
Yeah, that I mean, ask Tim about it tomorrow.
Yeah, might as well.
Cooler pushing over 80. So this is what you want to see to nullify this bear flag. This needs to hold it. We still have some time left before we close, so it could still fall back underneath that handle or that 80-cent area. But yeah, it still looks like it's going to be bearish at the moment. Let's see what it does in this next minute. Still looks like it could go lower.
Yeah, it's been rough. She was holding it for some time and she was down on it, so she was taking. Was it Stephanie? I don't know who it was. Anyway, they were just kind of. It sounds like they were booking the loss here for some tax loss harvesting. NEP is a spinoff from NEE, which is Next Era. Energy.
Drug has an interesting candle on the 5-minute that it's putting in right now. Might be a reversal candle. Volume's not there to match, so let's just see what we end up getting here. But that's an interesting hammer down there on this 5-minute chart.
Jay, I don't even know what you just said right here. Maybe Beeks is buying GME. Wasn't he in a cage with an ape? I don't even know what you're talking about.
AMC, the apes strong together. They all buy it. The stock does well. I think that's what he's referring to.
Hey, look, Jay, that's amazing. Jay is more up on the internet lingo than I am on that stuff. Really impressive stuff there, Jay. QMMM, maybe 108 break here sends this higher. Tesla pulled off of its highs. Amazon still holding its highs, 206 there. Bitcoin back chesting 93K, 93,500 on the futures there.
I think the big level for Q3M is going to be 116. That was after we had that sell-off yesterday. That was the spot where the price could not get back above. It tested that level multiple times, broke through it at one point, but could not close it. So I think 115, 116 is the level you want to watch in Q3M.
Oh my God, PDYN, you guys, really, really good call. This thing, Wiss was on this so early. He's on the golf course right now. I hope he's still long. Yeah, you guys are just absolutely busting me up with the trading place. I need to get better at that. I need to watch that. Before this holiday season is over, I must study up. I'm going to be with you folks.
Drug might be turning around.
PDYN halted here. AI Rod, indeed. What a move here on PDYN. Nice expanding volume as well.
Looks like Lunar wants to try and recapture VWAP. That could get going here too. A lot of these don't have a lot of volume, so some of the moves that we're seeing set up may not resolve the way we'd like them to. So we need to watch for this volume expansion, or else we're not going to get what we are thinking we see here. Okay, so Cooler still holding above 81. That's a good sign.
Seeing some AISP6 puts getting swept up. 1,000 contract put sweep there on that short report. Interesting.
Archer calls, says Izzy.
I don't see them, but I have a filter on my call scanner here. VC maybe curling, smoke tuna all over that.
Yeah, getting support from VWAP. One thing about VC, now, if we cannot get back above 340, I think that maybe we look for something else. MACD is also suggesting that this could roll over. So let's be careful with VC. I think we could see that push up to 340, and I don't know what happens once it gets up to there, but it could be resisted.
Okay. Yeah, stay focused. I've definitely, like I said, this is a homework assignment for me at this point. I really ought to know this. Did you know Trading Places is somewhat of a true story based on turtle traders from Chicago? Didn't know that myself. Fairchild likes the trivia though.
Oh, imagine if we had stock trivia every now and then with this.
We do. Jay Rice brings us stock trivia questions on a fairly
That's
regular
true.
basis. Let's not forget about that. By the way, MSTR here coming back into that 383.40 level. This was the
VC?
first scalp of the day. VC.
That's pushing up now.
Yep.
Looking for a break over 340. That's what we want to see get taken out. Otherwise, I think we go lower. MDAI down.
Big B's mentioning Micron here. Dip getting bought. Big B's, you've been doing really well with Micron here. We did lose the 200 day today. Oh, you know what? Shoot, that's the EMA. I got fooled again by the wrong chart. Damn it.
Yeah, that triple top.
Yeah, this actually lost the 50 day today. Excuse me, not the 200 day, the 50 day. I beg your pardon.
Yeah, I'm not sure this holds above 100 for too long. We'll see. I'm not sure about Micron, but that triple top that we were looking at from September to the 7th of November, I think that was kind of the signal that this is going to be going lower. I'd be looking at $85. If it goes down there, I think it'll be a great buy. So what, looking for that 340 in BC. There's a lot of sellers in the way to get up there, though. Do I have price targets for PDYN? And let's see here. Take a look at PD. Oops.
VSH. What did this pop on, folks?
All right, here comes 340 in BC. It brought a big order there. It's trying to push it down. 350 is the next one. They are trying to keep it below 340. Sorry, let me get that.
Really good calls on this. I'm sorry, I was reading into another stock here while you were doing that, but really good calls here on VC.
No worries. I'm just taking a look and see what I can find here from PDYN.
PDYN is open, by the way. PDYN open, going higher here. PDYN.
If we want to get really silly, 1680. I don't know that it's going to get up there. Let me see if I can find something more reasonable. But you can mark that off if you want. Yeah, because I don't really have anything else in the way there. Maybe it gets to $9.95, $10 first and finds some resistance. But if it can blow through that, then I have 13, 15, and then that 1680 level.
Okay.
So that's the levels I have for PDY, and hopefully that's helpful to you, Diamond.
685, the top there, the high of the day. All
right, so BC not able to get above 340. So now, if this candle closes and we start to see the price head lower, that's going to look like a head and shoulders pattern that we got here on the 5-minute chart. Probably even looks more pronounced in the 1 minute. Yeah, you can easily see it on the 1 minute. But that's if it starts to sell off from here. It looks like VWAP is down at 285. I would need to see a breakdown of that for confirmation of that we're going to get this head and shoulders to resolve.
Okay. Stay focused here. Ryan, any thoughts on NVIDIA? Yes. Had some really good thoughts here on NVIDIA. I was kind of asking the group here earlier what you guys, oh, you know what? And I lost that. Damn it. I lost that drawing when I had my thing here. Yes. So thoughts on NVIDIA here as we sit just above the 50-day moving average here. And actually, I asked David this earlier. We were talking about how maybe selling NVIDIA and kind of broadening out into the rest of the market. He says we're already seeing that. That is my thought. I want to see more of that. Let's let NVIDIA really kind of crack and come in a little bit more. I would imagine that right here, it's really going to kind of try and test this 50-day moving average area. But stay focused. What I'm seeing here today and what I've seen the past few days, very, very encouraging. Not saying this can't just turn around and go back to highs again. I mean, Lord knows it's done that plenty of times. But what I'm watching here and what I'm liking here is some diversification out of this name. So I'd be looking for some more spots lower. Go ahead.
I think you need to make an adjustment to that trend line there. You see that one right there that starts.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, I think I know what you're going to say here. You said I should probably do this.
Yeah, that's going to be a support area because once the price gets down there, I'd be looking at that trend line to
there we go
to give us a little bit of a bounce price action. Ultimately, I think it could fall through, but we are going to see some price action on that trend line. I'm pretty certain.
Yeah, and I stay focused. I like where your thought process here is. So if we want to see NVIDIA maybe come in a little bit more, the trade for that, instead of shorting NVIDIA, long SOX S. I like this idea a lot. I like how on top of it you are with that. And actually, looking here, the NASDAQ has been raging here. NASDAQ, again, higher by almost 0.5%. SOXS actually having a decent day here at the highs. Thinking about setting up another trade for this. Now you got me thinking. If this, then that. That's how I roll. Let's go. Plan your way through it too. Love it. This is a really smart way to do it.
So we haven't really talked about this one because it's been moving slow and it's not really putting in a big moves. But Dave Incorporated, that one has moved up $4. Looks like since it opened.
Did you really just say that?
What,
Dave? Dude, we have. So Jay Rice is going to be very upset because he has been talking about Dave all this week and some of last week. We talked about this as a group as this being an amazing island trade here. Unsurprised to see this go back up here. This is having a really decent day here today. I think that's what you're referring to, up 4.5%+ on the day.
Oh, Jay Rice with a nice trivia.
Ooh.
I would think
Jay brings trivia.
I would think GE would be one of them. Maybe Chevron would be another one, or I think it would be Standard at that in that era, right? Standard
Oil, yeah.
I don't know what the third one would be. I'm not sure. Any of those two correct?
So you said Standard Oil
and
GE.
Oh yeah, maybe Ford or one of the auto manufacturers.
Ford might be in there.
I frankly can't know. I don't know.
Was Carnegie's Steel Company in there?
I don't know.
Big B saying Sears.
That's a good one.
This is a good trivia question.
It is.
And Jay, because you asked without looking, the first thing I would have normally done there is look that up. But because you asked me not to, I played along.
But those would be my guesses. It'd be Standard and GE.
I'll go with Ford and Carnegie Steel, whatever the name of his steel company was at the time. Big B's suggesting Sears. Really good question. I'm curious to know the answer. GE is correct. Okay. Are none of the other ones correct? UAVS getting mentioned here by Smoke Tuna while we're doing the trivia here. Let me bring UAVS up. Wow, I didn't have that.
That's awesome. We're doing trivia and we got, oh, by the way, these trades. That's awesome.
Actually, this did pop here.
Drug back over 40. So that reversal candle I was mentioning, that was a good indicator. Trying to get back up to VWAP, see if we get it. Cooler still hanging out above 80. Not sure what's happening next.
American Tobacco is correct. There's two where our group is good. I haven't got a single one yet here. Ford is obviously not in there, right? Several people suggested that. It wasn't Carnegie Steel.
I want to say, some kind of retailer, but I don't know if that's correct. Macy's? No, seriously. Macy's is that one of them?
I don't think that was around back then, dude. Ford was invented yet. I think you mean wasn't.
I mean, Macy's is a very old company. That's why I'm kind of guessing. Looks like Toyo is trying to turn around here. Maybe it gets back to VWAP. PDYN still hanging out up here, trying to decide if it's going to go higher or not. We've already got our levels if it is going to go higher. Zena bottomed at 8, might be turning around. Not sure if it is. Cooler lost 80 cents. So we might be getting the resolution of that bear flag, unfortunately. You're cheating thinking about it?
Yeah, because he mentioned a company, distilling and cattle feeding company. So he clearly looked it up. No one's ever heard of this company before. Thinking about it might be old, but not that old. I'm curious, Jay. We're come on. What are the rest of these names? Give us some more of these.
Is it the Dow Chemical?
Zoo Alexander. I can't tell if you're trolling me, if you're new, or if you're a bot, but we have been looking at ASPI for some time. We called the news live. We actually traded this live.
U.S. rubber. Yes. U.S. rubber is what it was.
Ryan, is this like Vandalay Industries? I'm always here for the Seinfeld references. I will be your latex salesman. Stay focused for Vandalay Industries. Yes. U.S. leather, U.S. rubber. Oh man. Here.
Oh yeah, because that was a very big resource at the turn of that century. Absolutely. American cotton. DC 59 mentioning RGTI.
So you're talking about the original 12, right?
He was just asking us what was the first 3.
There are basic materials and heavy industry for Jay. The trivia time is over. We're filling this. This was a good question though. American cotton oil, American sugar, American tobacco, Chicago gas, drilling and cattle feeding, General Electric, Laclede gas. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. National Lead, North American, Tennessee coal and iron, U.S. leather, and U.S. rubber. The 30 stocks in the original Dow, this is going to be more palatable for most of you. That's Allied Chemical, American Can, American Smelting, American Sugar, American Tobacco, Atlantic Refining, Bethlehem Steel, Chrysler, General Electric, GM, General Railway, Goodrich, International Harvester, International Nickel, Mack Truck, interestingly enough, Nash Motors, North American, Paramount Publix, and a lot of Sears and Roebuck. This is from Bigaby's earlier. Yep. Standard Oil, Texas Company, Union Carbide, U.S. Steel. That was Carnegie Steel. Victor Talking Machine, Westinghouse Electric, Woolworths, and Wright Aeronautical.
This is a very smart chat. I mean, we didn't get the first 3 exactly, but they had the right idea about which companies were in the Dow. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah, you guys did a good job. Jay, I know we didn't answer your question, but I thought that was pretty good.
PDYN trying to push into a new high. Actually, just
yes, we are.
VC, really thinking that it's in the process of losing VWAP. We might see that. I think we're going to get that head and shoulders in VC. If we lose VWAP, that's what I'm going to go with. I think it's going to go lower if it loses VWAP.
Okay.
Zena still trying to turn around. UAVS been going lower.
MSTR lost that support area that I've been looking at. Big B's, you think 380 is a support here? What's your next support on MSTR? I'm going to add it to my chart because, like I said, I'm doing a little bit more digging into this.
Getting a mention that Agrify is moving. It's up 4.5%. Barely on any volume though. Barely any volume. Over 1,000 shares. It just traded in the last 5 minutes. Very low volume on Agrify right now. Looking at some
SMTC
of these things,
might be trying to go higher.
Rigetti, that's pushing higher. It's a new high of day, not pre-market, but just regular session. Dave with more highs. VC not quite done yet, but MACD is saying that it might be soon. PDYN looking for a break over that 590. There it is right there. Looking for 7. Got a little bit of a wall there. Before we go, do we think that HSAI hits double digits? HSAI. Let me see here. That is one big move today in HSAI. Looks like there's gonna be some resistance at about 830. That would I'd be concerned about. If it pushes through that, then you have consolidation to deal with. Now, I will say that it could get to 10, but I don't know about pushing through 10. If you look to the left, seeing what happened just this year, there's a lot of consolidation in the double digits starting at 10. So I would say maybe it gets to double digits, but not very far if it even gets up there. I would, and I'd only think it gets double digits if it can come through that 830 level with some good volume.
Okay.
That would be what I would expect out of HSAI.
Okay. Really good stuff there and really good timing. There you go, Daniel. 13, any closing words for the group before we move over to Anne-Marie here today?
Well, folks, another fun day. Lots of great
day.
things. Lots of great things running. We'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have some more before we sign off for Turkey Day.
I love this week. I can't wait. We are one day closer to having turkey and wine at 10 o'clock in the morning. I can't wait. All right. Really good stuff here today. Have a good one, 13. We will see you tomorrow. We'll see you later today on Happy Hour as well. 13's space leaves room for Anne-Marie. Let's go ahead and bring on Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie, happy Tuesday. How are you doing here today?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. We've had a kind of a monster morning here. 4 for 4 on day trades, just trading some of this relative volume names. But we are looking now for some options trades here. I didn't formally ask the group, so I will formally ask the group now. If there are any trades that you'd like us to set up, let us know. I had one on the list. If you want to dive into that,
Absolutely.
it's Amgen, ticker AMGN. You really? All right. Well,
I totally did.
Brilliant minds think alike. We did have some news here about the phase 2 study in one of its drugs, and that is causing Amgen to trade down here 11.5%.
Yes. And what we do know about Amgen is that it's a powerhouse in the industry. And so we have to think about where are value buyers going to come in and go, hey, this looks pretty good. So if we take a look at a weekly chart, and we have shallow volume, but this weekly chart showing the area around 260 looks like a pretty good do or die zone. So what I want to do is first, let's be Simple Sally, which I often enjoy being Simple Sally. It helps a lot with trading. I'm just going to do a box on the range. Now, this is a big breakout. That was a breakdown to the left. But by and large, sellers, 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 buyers, sellers, sellers, buyers, buyers. And so in the recent time, we've got a linear regression channel going. The recent channel event says, hey, we've got some support. Probably I'm going to do the halfback, but let's see how well they did on the duplicative. There's my $5 word of the
I like
day.
it. I like that. You made me smile with that one.
Let's see if we have anywhere near the halfway pressure event. Oh, wouldn't you know it? And a big fat round number at 350. I got to tell you, if you don't use these simple boxes, you're missing out on something that is absolutely a great way to keep yourself in between the lines. And so my thought is that we have two very nice trades going on here. The first one is an iron condor, which those iron condors have been very good to me. So let's do 300 and 240. And let's take it into January. Whoa, okay. Why is that doing that? Let's go 240. Perfect. I don't know why they've got this. Let's leave it here. It's nice and easy. 240 to 235. And, well, maybe we do need all of them. And, whoa, not giving us too much there. Let's go 290 to 295. That gives us about $1.13. Now, you know, the minimum that I like to collect on an iron condor is 20%. And this gives us just over the edge. All right, this 20%. And so that's going to be a nice leak. And so I like it. It's going to leak down. You want to take about half, and it's going to look good from that perspective. Okay. The next one is going to be, what if it bounces? So let's take a look at what the ATR is for the week. Almost $6. It spiked pretty high with this move. And then we want to, well, that disappeared. Why is that? Oh, now it's back with my, wow.
Yeah, it looks like your column
on?
settings changed then.
I know. All of a sudden, like, whatever. This is how it normally
wait. Did you
looks.
go? Were you on the trade tab versus the analyze tab? Is that what it was?
Oh, it might. No.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. But in any case, let's now think about, well, what if it actually recovers? The ATR is 5 or 6. They have absolutely juiced these options. Okay, and so the options are for January's expiry, looks like about $21. So very expensive. So when they're very expensive, I like the 1x3x2. And so let's take a peek at where this is the value area high on the weekly chart at 280. So let's go 280 to 295 and see what we get. 280. We won't be able to take the iron condor at the same time unless you say 290. But I don't like 290 simply because, easily they could go after that big fat round number. So I'm going to go 295, 1 by 3 by 2. It's a little expensive. It's $1.50 for $15 move. So there's $1,500 of upside, $137 of downside. Now, I have been a big fan of Peter Resnicek for a really long time. And this, oh, you know what? I bet you we could do 305. If we did 305,
It is a little cheaper, yeah.
it's a fair bit cheaper, but it uses margin. And so if we went to 290 and then we went to 295, it's then 66 cents. So the question is, yes, it's half the price, but what is the, what's the risk? And so the risk is with a 1 by 3 by 2 is that it blows past 295 and you hold it into expiration and this whole thing is gone. So the reason I brought up Peter Resnicek is because he has the most absurd name. He calls it a mullet. Don't ask me why.
Okay.
He calls it a mullet and he says, hey, think about it this way. If you bought, let's say you think it'll go up into 270, but it'll stall out around 285. Okay. So you go 270, 285, it gives you $15, right? It's still expensive, but if you go 270 to 285 for a $15 spread, you could go 295. And what it actually says is if this chart absolutely turns around and screams back up to 300, you're still going to make the $5 difference, right? That's $15 between 270 and 285. And then the short side, because it's a regular butterfly, the short side only gives you $10 of movement. So at the end of the day, if it turns around and moves savagely, you're looking at something that will give you about 100% gains. And as long as it's moving in that right direction, you're still going to stay green for most of the time. What's the drawback? Well, the drawback is it costs a lot more. The drawback is if you see price action roll over, it's going to eat all of that up.
Mm-hmm.
So my thought is the unbalanced butterfly feels more comfortable to me, way less risk. And if it flies off the top, you lose the 44 cents, but you have plenty of time between 280 and 290 to collect some gains. So I do like that. If you're the type that goes, wow, I know this about Amgen. They did XYZ. This is going to be really hard for them to hold. You might say, what about the put side? Maybe 244 to 234. So let's have a peek at that and see if 245, 235, 1 by 3 by 2, that's 5 away, 69 cents. So what you're looking at here is my goal is always to say, I don't want anybody to have to trade with margin. unless they really want to. A lot of great ways to trade with margin. I trade a lot with margin, but I've also been in the business for a long time, and I have a lot more cushion to play in that margin space. But for about $1, you have $10 to the upside and $10 to the downside. And as long as you keep that middle strike on an alert, let's say it turns around and just absolutely runs like a scalded dog back up to 290. Well, you can just close it out. You'll have this. You could actually take both of these because both the 290 strikes are short and the 295 strikes are long. So there's no dissonance here between the two.
I was wondering, I was going to ask you about that. I was wondering about that, but they're both short. Okay, cool.
Yes. So it keeps you on the right side of the trade there. Notice how price is moving around. That means there's quite a bit of volatility. I would try to get in to each of them and go, you know what? Let me see if I can get into these for 40 cents.
Okay.
Right? And see what gives. So I did see Amgen, and I will tell everyone it's from the Happy Hour channel on the Benzinga Pro platform. Just saying.
Oh, that makes me in 13 so happy, Anne-Marie. Appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We could also see what's been going on with the home builders. So let's first look.
Toll was dead. We got someone in here asking about Toll. So I know you want to do XBH. That's fine. But no, there's another stock here.
Just to see what's going on. Yeah. So let's. Well, what is that? XB. What is the? I forget what it is. We'll go to Toll. I forget what the ETF for home builders are.
Yeah, I don't have these memorized. I'll get it for you though.
Okay, so Toll has earnings coming up on the 9th. The ATR is 7.25. It's at the top of the regression band. And so also this news over the weekend on who the new Treasury Secretary is sent yields. I believe yields fell. I think that's what happened. So this, I think, is a knee-jerk move based on what could be happening, but we also have ourselves a little bit of a topping tail here. And so let's find where they sat and where support became resistance and when they all agreed on price. Looks like way back here at the breakout near 67, which right in the edge there. All right, so that's very far away. Let me draw Fibonacci on this wave action here. Let's do this wave over here.
And it's XHB, by the way, if you want to take a look at that. I think you were so close to that.
Yeah.
I do the same thing, Anne-Marie. Don't feel bad.
Thank you. All right, so the 2.618 is 176. And the 200 is 137. And the range, look at this. This has been a box for weeks. Have a peek at this. Look at this box, right? It comes all the way down here to 138. But this box might tell us what we have in store for any kind of outsized move that we might get. And so we can take out the poker chips, as it were, if we're going to see if we can find ourselves a cheap trade that sends us into support or into resistance. If it's a nothing burger, it's going to be troublesome. But let's see what the vol is. The vol is not great. Okay, so let's see how cheap it is here. This is actually the earnings week itself. How do I know that? What you can do is go directly to your implied volatilities and look for the one that's the highest. That's going to be the one that has the earnings attached to it.
Yep. And that earnings is December 9th. So that other weekly contract is just shy of it. So you're absolutely right about that.
Right. And so let's take a peek. If we do 145 to 135, let's see. Let's do the downside first. 145, 135. The spread, oh, hideous. All right, that is not going to give us what we want, but the 20th makes this one 28 cents. So let's go to that week. Then let's look at the upside, potential Santa Claus rally.
Okay.
We would look at 175. Let's go 170. Let's see what they're, ooh, expensive. So if we did 175 to 185, and we did a 1 by 3 by 2 to 190, 10 cents. Now,
okay, now that wasn't 1 by 3 by 2.
Wait. One more. 90
there we
cents.
go.
Okay.
There we go.
So what this gives us is upside and then downside. Now, you could say, you know, maybe this measured move gives us the real top of the box. And so we could do 170 to 180 to 185. It's more expensive. So obviously they think that's where the sweet spot is going to sit. You're still going to make a fair bit of coin if it comes into the 175 and never gets to 185, right? And the price is coming down. So if the market fades a little, like I think it might, we could try to see if we can get in this one for about 65 cents. We have plenty of time. You could just put good till cancel.
Okay. All right. Really good stuff there on TOL. The other two that we had here were Walmart, WMT, and IBIT, IBIT, a Bitcoin exposure with a super liquid options chain. So that's the other two I got for you here today.
Nice. All right. Nice. Okay. First, wow, that is quite the move.
Just full disclosure here, I am actually long 83 puts, looking to add some 85 puts because I'm with you. I think this is extended. I'm just in puts on their own for a possible regression back to the mean. But anyway, go ahead.
Yes, and it's top of the linear regression channel, right? So the last box of motion that it broke out of is about 81. So I love your 85 puts.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are really nice. They come into old resistance, which could be new support. The flip side of this is that once we get close to 90, and we've got Black Friday things coming up, and we've got the Santa Claus rally, these guys might have they might have a blow off top. Let's take a look at the monthly chart, and let me see.
The monthly chart is even more dramatic, honestly.
You're not
It
kidding.
is so extended. It's just like that's the whole reason for the trade.
Well, you know, they are beating the pants off everybody in the space.
Yeah, they are.
But it certainly, man, that is extended. All right. So let's think about, this. Let's see what the chains have. We'll go quickly. We won't go to December. We'll go to Jan. 85 puts are here. Here's something super easy you can do. If you go, listen, it's going to have some kind of move. I'm going to do it. It's either going to get close to 100 or it's going to go down to 85. Now, once these things get in the money, you're going to see them quadruple in price if it happens in quick time. So if you just want to go super simple and you go, hey, I'm taking strangle, you got yourself trade right there. 85 puts seem very cheap to me. They seem really, really cheap. If you want something a little bit more structured, perhaps, might have to wait. February might be 3-to-1 on the put call ratio. Very interesting. You could do, let's see what the 100 to 105 to 110 butterfly does. 33 cents, 85, 80, 75, 47 cents. Okay. And so what that gives you is about a $5 move. It is a 1 by 2 by 1 because, particularly on the put side, if this gives back, oh my word, this is just ridiculous. Let me draw this wave. $200, 2.618 is 104, 1618 is 71. Easily, it could fall into 71 over the short term, but if it moves into your position over that period of time, you just cover it when it gets to that middle strike.
Okay.
Let's say you're looking for, it was a 10-to-1 trade and I'm only getting 3-to-1. Well, you know what? Take the check, move on to the next one, right? A lot of times we wait for these butterflies to explode, and sometimes they do, like our deer and our target. Those were incredible, but most of the time it gives us that 150, 200%, and then, we're gone, or it starts leaking. So the further out we are with these guys, the easier it is to triage the event or get yourself into a space where you'd want to do it. What's the last one?
IBIT, IBIT. This is an iShares Bitcoin ETF that has very liquid option chain.
And okay, so it's an iShares.
Yes, iShares
okay.
Bitcoin ETF, correct.
All right. So, all right, nice flag. Let's do Fibonacci here, and then I'll go to the. Oops, wrong direction. Well, look at that, coming up into the 1618 and rejecting it. Chances are they're going to try and hold 50 here. Now, full disclosure, I believe that Bitcoin is beginning a correction. And so if you're thinking to yourself, ooh, this might give me what I want, just remember it could be quite a bit stickier than we might want for it to be. Let's see what the, ooh, nice. All right. So let's take the bull scenario first. Let me double check. Bull scenario is that it heads to 2618, which is 75-ish. That's a 50% move approximately from where it is right now. So remember, that's a very big move. Now you might go, yeah, Emery, but you know, it sat in this monthly range for, look at how many months. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months. And then broke out and immediately gave us 2x.
Yep.
Right? And so the top of the 2x half back would be 47. So 50 to 47. And if it comes to retest the breakout area, that's all the way at 41. And so let's think about this. We might need time on our hands here. So 53, so that's 2.5 to 1 bullish. Let's take a look at February. So let's say we're looking at 45 to 40 to 35. That's 45 cents. Okay, a 1 by 2 by 1. If we think, hey, it goes to 70, which, where do they think it's going to? 65 is where the majority of traders have piled in right now, besides this 55 number. Yep. So if we go 65, 75, $85, it's 75 cents. It gives us $1,000 of upside for $75 of risk. If you think it's going to run, that is a great trade to look at. If you think it's going to fade, also a great trade to look at. It's got a little bit less upside in terms of total reward. It's $50 for a $500 potential spread move. And so there it sits. If, for happenstance, you're saying to yourself, you know, what if we have another 7 months of sideways motion? We probably won't. But what if? You could always say, hey, I'm going to take the 85.90. Doesn't give us very much. And the 40.35 iron condor. It pays for the majority of the motion in there. You can take both of them at the same time. The call can win and the iron condor will still be intact. The put can win and the iron condor will still be intact.
Okay. All right. Really good stuff, Anne-Marie. We made it through a whole bunch there. We had a new ticker here on IBIT. So there you go. There you go, group. All right, Anne-Marie, absolutely fantastic stuff. Cannot thank you enough again for joining me here today. Just a reminder for the group, we're going to be back on Friday, right? We're going to enjoy our Thanksgiving leftovers and do a show on Friday, on Black Friday. It's up to you if you can make it or not.
Can I ping you on that?
Sure. 13 and I, I'll tell you, I'll make you a deal. 13 and I are for sure going to be here. So if you cannot make it, we will fill in for that time. So the guests, you guys can for sure put it on your schedule. We'll get Anne-Marie if we can here for that. If not, 13 and I will take you home into Black Friday there. That work for you?
That sounds great.
All right, sweet. Really, really good stuff, Anne-Marie. Thanks again. Have a great one, folks. We're going to see you tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. Take care, everybody.